Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this contest.
I look and see it's not just me.
Jack, why do you insist on doing this dumb internet shit on TV?
I look and see it's not just me.
This place is a fucking joke, man. You're a clown. I quit.
So many of us have stood where we stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. So many of us have stood where we stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. They call us problem child. We spend our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild.
No. It doesn't make logical sense. But it makes
yes, of course.
But it makes wrestling booking sense. Of course, this makes no sense. Of course, okay, it makes no sense. However, in pro wrestling booking, which often makes no sense, you would do that. It's about making money. It's not about anything else. Wrestling's always been about making money first and foremost. That's it.
Yes, I look and see it's not just me.
Last weekend was the greatest weekend in AEW history. This is the greatest week.
I look and see it's not just me.
Security, my safety, my life was in danger at a wrestling show.
So many of us have stood where we stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. So many of us have stood where we stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. They call us problem child. We spend our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild. They call us problem child. We spend our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild. Get wild! Yeah!
If you're familiar with how we do things often here on these Wednesdays, it's a lot like one of my favorite movies, Time Cop.
What? Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah!
Damn it, God damn it.
Yeah!
Tell me how uncomfortable wrestling boots are, truly.
Well, mine are tailor-made for my foot.
Yeah, but you wore shitty boots over the years for sure.
Yeah, when I started, I borrowed someone's boots that were a size too small, and that kind of sucked. And wrestling boots are $400. Again, I was making $20.
Are they really $400?
I think they're up more now.
How often do you have to change them?
So I'm a weirdo, though, because I've kept the same design for my boots for my entire career.
You've never changed your design?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Is it laziness or is it content with it?
It's like this weird thing where I had them for like probably 12 years. I've had maybe 3 sets of each set lasts me about 4 or 5 years. And then at a certain point, I was like, wow, I've been wearing these boots for 10 or 12 years. I'm like, I think I'll just wear them my entire career.
That was, you made the decision.
But like, I also wore like tights my whole career. And then maybe 3 years ago, I started wearing like pants, not just the, spandex tights. So that changed. And I thought, well, if I'm changing my look, I should change everything. But the boots stayed.
And yet the boots remained.
Yeah. So I don't know what that is. I don't know what sickness in my head is just like the boots. No, like that's the constant.
If I have to fold one more box, I'm gonna snap.
Did you say snap? Snap into a Slim Jim! You know, a little excitement? Snap into a Slim Jim!
fucking high green. You're in debt to your health. AARP. Ain't shit old but my wealth. And my oppie's getting dumber every day. Ha! Up in the gym, but I never need a witness. Tonic and gin when I'm working on my fitness. On Becca, on God, I'll make you wish you had this hot bod. On Becca, on God, I'll make you wish you had this hot bod. On Becca, yeah, on God, I'll make you wish you had this hot bod. On Becca, on God, I'll make you wish you had this hot bod. I be flexing like the dudes high on tread, all natural. Better give her tens. They say Blondie, how you getting those abs? Hey Bobby, let me call you a cab. Long legs, I'm a woman in STEM. My eggs, fertile, healthy, and femme. My trades, flowing free like the Thames. And my haters getting madder every day.
Ooh, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to another eclectic edition of PWT live show. I am your host, the infallible Phil Marks, and here we are once again. Yeah, it's another Wednesday. We made it through. It is a brand new week, and boy, is this show jam-packed, and our haters are in fact getting madder every single day. I want to thank everybody for being here this evening as people continue to file in across YouTube and X, and of course the full uncensored, unedited version will be on Patreon, so patrons enjoy that. If anything gets clipped out of this replay, yeah, but guys, I want to thank you for 7,300 subscribers. We actually blew Pat. We're almost at like 7,320 or some shit. Thank you guys so much for that. That's here on the Clips channel, on the main channel, and on the Times channel there. We're grinding away as well. I forget where we're at, but it's over 2,000 subs. So round of applause for you guys. Thank you so much. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe. Super chats support the show, and so do memberships. Okay, and I do a bonus show every week, Member Monday. Patrons and channel members get access to those. So yeah, thank you all for being here. Those are my plugs. And we have a lot to get to. So AEW fans meltdown over TNA's new AMC deal. As you guys can see in the title, we have some meltdowns over that and some reactions, and we're going to talk about that, break it all down. And it's quite interesting how fast it developed as well. Everybody thought, it's so funny because so many people have stood where I stand. A bunch of folks have said like, oh, it's going to be announced before. Like, I thought it would be at BFG, and then everyone's like, no, in 26 for sure it'll be announced, and then boom, they just dropped it on us in December. Pretty funny. You know, it's pretty funny that it's just like, oh, no, they're going to do it now. No, they're going to do it then. Oh, no, they're going to announce it now. But yes, for the longest time. And of course, TNA is going to be on Thursdays, which I told you guys was the most ideal thing, right, for them. Unless like AMC shilled out a shitload of money and was like, we want you on Wednesday or Tuesday. Then they probably would have did it. But otherwise, yeah, Thursdays where they built their audience back. We're going to get into that. Tony Khan's delusional. Today he dropped some delusion about how he's going to fucking close the gap, or he's closing the gap. So it was forbidden doors. It was feelings, restoring feelings, and then we're forbiddening doors, and now we're closing gaps. Now we're closing gaps. The forbidden gap. Pause. Right? So also Freddie Prinze Jr., and I listen to his show. I actually listen to it all the time. No offense, I skip the episodes that are just producer Alex. When it's producer Alex and Jeff Dye, it's like, okay, but Jeff Dye recently got in like a Cringe controversy that I don't know if you guys saw, but he basically was like, he tried to do a fundraiser, a crowd fund to move to Austin, Texas to be a part of like the Austin, Texas comedy scene. And it's like, bro, you're rich, you know? And he started this GoFundMe for like a move to literally pack up and move from LA to Austin to do all the former LA comedy scene podcasts. I don't really understand what the motive was there for him, but he kind of got egg on his face. But I'll listen to just him and producer Alex sometimes. But whenever it's Freddie, I always listen to whenever Freddie's on the episodes. I make sure I listen to the whole thing. So I actually listen to that. But he's saying that ESPN hates the WWE deal, right? And so without further ado, let's get into some goddamn news. Everybody's saying how many people? There's 130. We're climbing across YouTube and X, guys. The replay will be at youtube.com/ProWrestleTimes. YouTube.com/ProWrestleClips is where I'm at. That's the channel Dave Meltzer falsely struck. So go and support patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. I've spent a bunch of time like organizing all of the collections on the Patreon. I added a cheaper tier, the jobber tier, superstar and tribal chief tiers. And I'm pushing it hard because Dave Meltzer can't abuse YouTube's copyright system over there. So I've really been pushing the Patreon hard. I think it's worthwhile. And I'm archiving all of the past pods and also isolating and archiving all of the interviews I've done of wrestlers so far. And that's all like in one little catalog there that you can download, do whatever with over there on Patreon as well. Please support. Appreciate you guys. Let's get into shit. Without further ado, everybody's saying, hey, what's up? What's up, guys? Everybody, what's up? Your channel came in second after Jim Cornette's on my YouTube. That's amazing. What's up, Sassy Gal? What's up, Lucy? What's up, Dundid? What's up, Cashman? Hey, we got everybody here. There's 144. We're climbing. Okay, let's start the show. Big Bang's on. And I want to start the show with a big bang. We are going to jump into to set things off this evening because we've been all over it. All right. We've been all over this. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for TNA news, a little TNA Aces and Eights on AMC or what? Right. So it's time for TNA news. And just to start things off, Joe Doring's sister-in-law has shared an update about his health, confirming that he's currently being treated for a third fight with brain cancer. Joe is understandably private with his health, but a GoFundMe was shared in his Instagram stories and bio. So speaking of fundraisers and whatnot, don't support Jeff Dye's move to Austin, Texas. Support our guy Joe Doring here. Hell yeah. And prayers up for him right now. So this is surreal here. MJF's ex-girlfriend or MJF's ex-fiance.
You fucking mark!
And I'm not joking. Naomi Rosenblum art. She says, still surreal. Grateful for every moment this art journey brings, especially two legends who shape. So she got to drop. She makes all these wrestler paintings. And she was like engaged to MJF or whatever. And she got to meet the Hardy Boys and dropped off a painting.
She did it.
Fly like paper, get high like planes. No one on the corner has swagger like us. And then they sign it up. That's got to be awesome. She could probably sell that for a shitload of money or like auction that off and raise a shitload of money for a good cause doing that as well. So good for her. And speaking of good for them, man, we got this teaser and the whole news segment will be about this. Well, before we jump into it, actually, let's give Lei Ying Lee her due. She's the TNA Knockouts champion. She's the goddamn face of the new era, the new AMC era of TNA. She's the face of the Knockouts, a prestigious women's division, to say the least, a prestigious women's world title in the landscape of pro wrestling, to say the least. And, you know, TNA had tremendous wrestling going on in the women's division when many other companies, or the other company at the time, perhaps didn't. And however you want to chalk it up, whether, you know, because they brought Sexy back, right? They brought sexy back in the TNA Knockouts division, but you had really heavy hitting wrestlers at the same time. And speaking of heavy hitting wrestlers, Lei Ying Lee, Xia Li, you know, she got cut from WWE and a lot of people were like, what the fuck? And I'm so glad she found her footing and she deserves this. You guys know, if you go back before she got cut, I love Zayling Lee. I'm butchering the new name. Xia Li, Lei Ying Lee. Okay, I'm just gonna call her Xia Li or Lee. Okay, that's the easiest way to not fuck it up and be disrespect. Put some respect on that name, Phil. So Lee, when she was in WWE, I always put her over. I always thought WWE could do more with her. I thought at one point as well, I probably put my foot in my mouth. If you go back to earlier PWT before she got cut, I think I was like, they're clearly priming her up to be like this lethal assassin, can get a title shot, like a Nakamura almost, which, I mean, isn't, obviously you want to give everyone the world and everyone wants the world, but at the same time, it's like, you know, not everyone can be pushed. We also discussed that a lot here on the show. And, you know, especially women's roster in WWE, super bloated. Everywhere, even in AEW, super bloated. A place where she could shine is TNA, and she has. And they put the title on her, and she has the strap leading into the AMC era. And here's just her talking a little bit more about this. We played her promo where she was bawling, could not contain herself, and it's more of that here. And they're giving her the ball, and I think she's going to run with it. Imagine her versus Tessa Blanchard and some of these other women, Indy Hartwell. There's some other matches there. And even with the crossovers with NXT, she knows how to work the WWE style. She was on the main roster. Clearly, she's somebody that TNA has faith in now because of that. I'm sure that has something to do with it. But just the fact, like, they announced this TV deal. Let's say you're curious about TNA. Who's their champions? Fucking Lee comes up, dude. And she deserves this.
I get so excited.
Shout out Busted Open Radio, Sirius and Dave LaGreca here, and Tommy Dreamer.
And also nervous, you know. And I feel I'm there alone, you know. I wish my friend or my family will be there with me. But it's okay. I think that's my big moment. I just go there, do my best. And when I'm in the ring, I feel the audience cheer for me. They know me, even I'm in different company. That's mean a lot to me. I've been prepared all day, but it go quick.
She recently had like, I think it was at the amateur level. Yeah, it was, because they were wearing kick pads and stuff. She had like an amateur, was it MMA or was it like a Muay Thai bout? I can't remember, but.
Until the end, I'm like, I don't know.
She's busting her ass in the greatest shape of her life too, like unbelievable shape. Even when she was in WWE, and she didn't like go to TNA and just phone it in, you know?
Not crying, but I just couldn't control. Since the ref counting down the 3, 2, 1, and finally I get all the struggle, the sweat, the pain, the blues I have been go through, and finally I get out. This is my moment.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
and I celebration with everybody, and even
yeah.
I go back to Korea.
And she's gonna be like, I don't know, the face of the women's division on AMC, man. This is so big for her. I'm so happy for her, you know.
I'm still keep, you know, emotional, and everybody say,
I know we get
good
the
job,
gist.
Congrats.
What was the first?
So, I mean, what was the first thought she just said when he counted down 3, 2, 1? It was like, oh, you know, but it was her hard work, dedication, and people keep pointing out, like, imagine moving away to the other side of the world and you don't know anybody or the language, and you're just, you know, you're just making the best of it, and then you become world champion in TNA, and then they get this huge TV deal, which is huge for them. Everybody can agree that it is a big deal for them. And So the reason it's a big deal, and the thing I keep alluding to, this AMC TV deal. So AMC, of course, we talked about it on the show. We've been chronicling this the whole time, and I've really been harping on, TNA, they should do their thing on Thursdays, and, that's what they want to do. And it's going to be fucking a big deal if they announce a deal with like CW. CW does around 400,000. So we have the numbers for AMC and what they do and what they can, what the potential is for TNA. We're going to go over all of that. I know I've been talking about it a lot lately, but I thought we were going to get like in the new year, we were going to hear about the TV deal. I didn't think it was going to be so soon. And so AMC dropped this trailer like 2 days ago. Okay. And fuck it, we'll play it. And it's just like, is that a wrestling ring in the background or a hockey rink? Who knows? The rumors were AMC's interested. They're known for shows like Mad Men, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. Everybody keeps parroting the same thing. You all know this. I'll reiterate it here once, but they're not known for live anything or sports, right? So this is curious. Even if you're just a sports fan, okay, the date drops. That's a Thursday. Boom. Exactly. I know people wanted them to go head to head with Dynamite. I'm all for that too. I was all for letting them go head to head with Dynamite and all that shit. I'm not against that. That would have been funny. But this way, like, people got to understand something. They worked so hard to turn the ship around for TNA and to get this TV deal and to get the stink off of TNA. And no matter how hard some of these fucking, I don't even want to say some of these dirt sheets, because honestly, like, a lot of the dirt sheets cover TNA fairly, because it's like, people aren't like going out of their way to fucking, oh my God, TNA contract news and shit, like, but at the same time, and now they are, which is awesome. But at the same time, you have the Observer in them, and they're just burying TNA at every turn they fucking get. And every turn they can, or every chance they get, and every turn they can, they're fucking shitting on it. And I think people were worried like it might go on a Wednesday or something. I just think that Thursday makes sense because it's the fucking day that they turn the whole ship around on Thursdays. Doesn't matter what else is on. They have their YouTube or their TNA and YouTube presence, and Thursdays is just when to do it. They don't back down from their pay-per-views on Fridays either. They run them even if SmackDown's on. They might wait till a little later or something to start, but they've been just in their lane doing their own thing. Do they work with AAA, or have they worked with Japanese companies, or will they work with WWE? Yes, but they're in their own goddamn lane. And again, a lot of people want to say, like, here's the thing. TNA was on trajectory to get a TV deal regardless, but their association with WWE obviously plumped that up. It obviously juiced that up. And it also helped them in many ways. And that's the benefit of partnering. Like, Nuge didn't get an American TV deal. ROH and Jericho Jericho and AEW were supposed to help ROH get a TV deal. That didn't materialize, pardon me. And basically, we're here. We're here now in December, and TNA has this deal. The deal with AMC, and it starts on January 15th, man. And we're gonna break it all down. My reactions were sweet. Thursday's the absolute right day. You got to stay in your own lane. You can partner with whoever, but just focus on you, build your shit. And that's what they've been doing. They did that switcheroo with the title with Kazarian. Why? I was like, dude, we're going to get an announcement sooner than later. I said it exactly on my show. It pretty much played out, but I'm going to be honest. I thought it wouldn't be until 26 that we actually saw something. Or heard anything, but it's awesome that it's at the end of the year. Merry Christmas to all. And, TNA's kicking off the year the right way. And so Kazarian losing the title on that live show. They're going live for 2 hours every Thursday. And the middle of the week wars, NXT, AEW, TNA, it has officially begun, and we're going to break down the ratings and why TNA is going to. I get people wanted the head-to-head with Dynamite. That's not the move, though. It's just not the move. They have the sickos then will take umbrage with it, which they have. But a lot of sickos are also like doing this. Well, good for TNA, but like, what about AEW? Because they know, dude, the writing's been on the wall, and I mean, I don't want to have a powwow about it, but it's like, fucking, everyone tried to warn everyone about the AEW stuff. You know, it's not even going to be fun to hate on AEW soon. I'm telling you guys, I'm foreseeing it right now. It's going to be like, whatever. They just kind of, Tony just says stuff and it'll be like Dixie Carter. Like, yeah, it's fun, but it'll just be widely accepted by everyone because you have so many TNA holes out there that are going to drown out the majority of the sickos, I assure you. And you can see the tides turning already. And again, they got some eyeballs on the live show. Kazarian's going to be this dickhead. Everyone's going to tune in to see for the AMC premiere, even out of curiosity, even if their first show does like a higher rating and then it falls off a bit, it'll build back up. We're going to go over how and why that seems to be the trend for TNA over the last like 20 years. But the first episode, eyeballs will be on it. Santana wins the title back right there on the AMC debut show. Boom. And then that goes viral. And they gave it right back to them and they realized it was a mistake, Brian. That's what Dave will say and shit. Even though or AMC demanded whatever. They'll just make some shit up. Even though it's just TNA and I don't know, Carlos Silva, who's like the official guy booking it. I booked this. I don't know anymore in TNA. I actually don't know. I think it's just like a group of people who agree on shit. So, and maybe Carlos Silva has the final say, or is he just hands off creatively? I have no clue, actually, the extent. No one asks him that. You know, they don't ask him, like, how far are you hands? They're like, so does Shawn Michaels and WWE control your shit? And he's like, no, we control our shit. And it's like, how much do you say? Like, do you approve who's going to be champion and shit? I'm curious. I would love to ask him questions like that. Hit me up, Carlos Silva. But I think you could put the title back on Santana right away. Or like you build up to it for their first big event. But like the first live show on AMC, you just put it back on Santana. And then they have a trilogy bout, and then Santana just shuts Kazarian down in like a cage. And then that's like your first pay-per-view or the main event for 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later before the pay-per-view, and you build up to it or some shit, or at the pay-per-view, whatever, but you're promoting that pay-per-view on AMC. And so you get people invested in like the new guard, Santana versus the old guard, Kazarian in a cage, whatever the fuck. I think they just did that to get people talking, and then boom, they announced the TV deal. So I was spot on about that shit. So let's break this all down, okay? I've rambled and gave my little preamble. So TNA President Carlos Silva confirms that TNA's partnership with NXT will continue because a story came out and it got debunked right away. But pretty much a story came out saying that, NXT and TNA, their partnership is done. Their partnership's done with the new AMC deal. But that's not true. I guess what happened was like it just removed the clause of like the NXT can get out of their deal, can get out of the partnership within 60 days or something. So who knows? Everyone's just speculating and X-Filesing on all of that shit, right? Like Silva revealed a little bit on Busted Open Radio. He says that it's a big part of helping us get this deal. It's a big part of now being able to almost give back a little and provide a big platform to some of those superstars as well. Boom, synergy. The storylines, the things we're doing together, we're just going to continue to grow in 2026. I love it. And hopefully NXT grows a bit on the CW. And now we're going to get to compare CW, AMC, AEW on TBS. I can't wait for all that shit. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be so much more fun than just like bullying AEW shit the way people have for the last little while, coping and bullying AEW. It's going to be fun to like compare TNA Impact to AEW Dynamite, I think, anyways. But Raj Giri writes this: AMC Networks and TNA Wrestling Today announced a multi-year agreement to air Thursday Night Impact weekly on AMC from 9 to 11 Eastern. So that's pretty late. The partnership kicks off live from the Curtis Colwell Center in Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex on Thursday, January 15. The new TNA AMC agreement also includes extending the weekly telecast to viewers on AMC Plus. So now we can play the game plus 500,000 on AMC, Brian. Like now people can play that game and meme Dave Meltzer in between him falsely copyright striking my channel.
Tony Khan.
And fucking talking shit about TNA, people can play that. Oh, they're on AMC Plus and TNA Plus. Combine those simulcasts, Dave, and that's 800 million people watching. You know what I mean?
My
People
God,
can play that game.
Thing I've ever seen.
So it'll be fucking hilarious to see that. Can't wait for that. And so I quote tweeted this and I was like, TNA has the potential to do 400K viewers or just under that on AMC. Anyone who gets triggered or mad about that, sickos, is a dumb fuck who never looked into this stuff, so ignore them. Meltzer will undermine this, but he doesn't study and learn the business, or he'd know there's a strong chance they do 400K viewers over a short period of time. I also told everyone Thursday's their day. Soon we'll also know. People are melting down over that. Soon we'll also know what TK does with Collision, if anything. Oh, this is the point I wanted to make during my preamble. So Collision gets moved from Saturday. They just move whatever time. It comes on whatever time on Saturday when it goes in its regular time slot. When it goes on its regular time spot. I need some coffee, goddammit. Hold on a second. I'm dehydrated right now. Went on a long snowy hike today. So in the when they go on their regular time slot on Saturdays, Collision's posting their worst fucking ratings and key demos in history. And it's been moved to after Dynamite on Wednesdays a bunch. It's been moved to, or it's just been called like Tailgate Brawl. I guess that's technically Collision, but they're just like, oh, it's just like the pre-show for our pay-per-view. It's been moved to Thursdays as well. On Thursdays, sometimes it's taped, sometimes I think it's aired live as well. It's not doing gangbusters, but I think it's done a little bit better ratings than when it's on Saturdays. So it's curious, like, okay, does AEW, I think they're just trying to figure out where does this fit? It just goes wherever until we cancel it and put it on YouTube, essentially. That's what I think is happening. And I predicted this a long time ago. I tweeted that out and fucking Dustin Rhodes blocked me like that day. So it had to be, because I followed him. Like I'm a fucking fan of the Rhodes family. And it's unfortunate, but I think that's been discussed, or people know that the writings on the wall with this Rampage disappeared. It did better ratings at one point than fucking Collision ever did. So, or higher ratings if you isolate an episode or two than Collision ever did. So why can't Collision go away or become a YouTube show? You know, like, and I'm not cheering for that to happen. Again, go back to early PWT. Collision was like, I was the most pumped for that show. It was my favorite show. It was my favorite show. And maybe some of it was cope because I was just like, come on, we got to will this FTR Punk Joe. Maybe I was just coping back then. I don't know. I should listen to my old shit and roast my old shit. But either way, what was the point I was making? Oh yeah, basically Collision, they can still go head to head with TNA on some nights, but TNA stayed in their own lane. It doesn't look like we're going to come fight AEW. That's what AEW did. Everyone went cringe, you know. They did that to WWE. Everyone went cringy. So TNA stayed in their own, they're doing their own fucking thing. They pick their own day. And now they can still go head to head every now and then if Collision chooses to do that. So if Collision never goes on Thursday again, they back down. If they go head to head, or if they go the same night, even if it's like they end before TNA starts, or there's only like 1 hour bleed over there, crossover, we can compare the ratings. Ooh, that's going to be fun. Or if they just go Collision's only on Saturdays forever again. Okay, then did they back? We don't know. Or did they do what I've been predicting? They're going to try and add a third hour to Dynamite, and they'll cancel Collision, or they'll just call it the third hour Collision until the TV deal's up or until the sale happens or whatever the fuck. Maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe it just gets canceled outright. You know, I'm trying to be a little optimistic for AEW here as well. But either way, we'll know what TK chooses to do with Collision. Like, we'll kind of get a grasp on that sooner or later here, which I'm excited for. So as an AMC Plus subscriber, you have access to AMC's live feed and can stream their live each week. Now, hopefully it doesn't work like shit. All of these different streamers and all of these different fucking, you know, I mean, for me with WWE, I get it. People in America are pissed with ESPN. Freddie Prinze Jr. was burying the ESPN app himself as well. So it's not like he's trying to do this. He's not like on this burying ESPN brigade. We're going to talk about that later in the show during WWE news. But he was sort of like burying the app. He's like, dude, it takes longer than when I just used to click on pay-per-view and buy it or whatever, you know? He's like, it's fucking annoying. And I get that if you're in America. For me, WWE is all just on Netflix and then YouTube for anything else I can't get. So I'm not complaining at all. And then also AEW. So there was an update on Crave. In Canada, Crave is essentially our HBO Max. There was no AEW stuff on there. There's only WWE LFG and like Most Wanted or whatever that show's called. Like those like A&E WWE shows were on there. However, they did a update to Crave, and we'll talk about this in AEW news. They did an update to Crave, and it said sports, and Kenny Omega was on the front of it. And then so I went and I looked for the sports section. This was just like on the update. It was just showing you, here's what's new. And it said Kenny Omega sports AEW. And then I was like, oh shit. So I clicked and I searched AEW. Because it's not on the front page. It's even, I go to sports. I'm like, it's not here. There's no AEW. Let me look at it. Even though it was on the new update, right? So I search AEW. Only Collision is on there. And you have to have like the sports package extension, I think, or whatever. And only Collision's on there. No pay-per-views, no Dynamite, no nothing. So again, I don't know how the fuck that works. Is it because Collision's on TNT and it's only TNT sports stuff and they give such a shit? They give such a little shit about AEW that, because here's the thing. In Canada, I'm sure they do comparable numbers to other wrestling companies. I'm sure like in Canada, AEW and WWE do comparable numbers. There's only so many fucking wrestling fans. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm sure in Canada, it's like comparable numbers as far as like, because WWE draws all the casuals too. So that's why they can go to Toronto, do like 40,000, 30,000 people. And then AEW goes and they do like 18,000 or whatever. It's because, but like, it's, those are like, there's 18,000 people who are fans enough of wrestling who can make it to that show type shit. You guys know what I'm saying? Like there's enough casuals as well. There's not enough people in Canada to where I think all the wrestling fans, you could kind of like, I think we'd all check out AEW or whatever. So I'm not sure what's going on with all that. I'm speculating a bunch, but not to make this about AEW, making it about another AMC on TNA Plus and AMC Plus. You can watch it live. So hopefully the streamer works well. Hopefully everything, it doesn't crash, or hopefully it does crash because that's a marketing tool. Hey, Netflix crashed because Stranger Things. You know what I mean? It's a marketing ploy as well. So prepare for impact. Here is the ad as of yesterday. So we saw the teaser, then they thing where they put it up on social.
AMC is the new home of TNA Thursday Night Impact.
This is TNA's greatest stage.
Every Thursday at 9, non-stop drama, non-stop thrills, total non-stop action.
It is It's like electricity.
TNA Thursday Night Impact starts January 15th at 9, live on AMC.
I mean, that rules. I'm so pumped. That's awesome, man. And means that they're getting a bunch of money too. That's what's awesome. Like, that's going to help them so much. Like with signing some of these guys to longer deals or whatever it is, bringing certain guys in, and then maybe you can get, if they're on like a WWE deal in some capacity, you can get a discount on that or something. Like, who fucking knows, but hopefully it works out for them. But they'll be live. Impact will also stream on AMC Plus, biggest network they'll be on since Spike TV. This is huge. Very curious to see what happens to TNA Plus next year. How many homes is AMC in? Let's see. So AMC reaches about 60 million US cable households. So that's like a great, tremendous, amazing look for them. Here is TNA President Carlos Silva reacting to this news on Busted Open.
It was a team effort, and there was ups and downs. As you know, any deal that you do, there's ups and downs. There's moments where you say, oh my goodness, is it slipping through our fingers or not? But I think AMC was really excited about it too. They're getting into the live sports entertainment business. They've always built great characters. We know that. And now I think together we're going to give them something every Thursday night, 52 weeks a year. That is so difficult in the entertainment and sports business to do. And it's going to change everything. It's going to change the way that fans get the product, see the product, and I know it's going to bring that energy to the talent in the ring as well, because I've seen it even as we filled up these buildings. You were with us at Bound for Glory, and it was such a great night. And I know you and the Hardys and everybody else felt that energy from the crowd. Now we're going to feel all that energy from the audience from AMC as well.
Is this relation?
Yeah, I hope like they pop a huge number for the first show. And here's the thing. I'm saying confidently they'll eventually do around 400,000. I actually have lowered that a little bit to 350, but again, there's a reason for that, which I'm going to explain as we go along. But they can do around 350 to 400,000 average over time. And I'm going to break down why that's the fucking case in a minute. But yeah, like people who think that we're saying that like, oh, they'll do that rating one time. No, that'll be their average over time. If the last 20 years are any indicator of TNA, you know,
Ship with NXT going to continue.
Absolutely. It's a big part of helping us get this deal. It's a big part of now being able to almost give back a little and provide a big platform for some of those superstars as well. And so absolutely the storylines, the things we're doing together, they're just going to continue to grow into 2026. I mean, like you said, Dave, the last 5-6 months have been awesome. And I think there's more to come. And 2026 is just going to build off of that and be even bigger.
Hell yeah. So moving along here, so yeah, we touched on this a little bit before, but basically new on SI Wrestling. This is John Alba. I asked TNA President Carlos Silva about the report of the WWE TNA partnership ending, and he quickly shot it down. Also included are even more direct comments from another TNA source, reached out to WWE as well. So this was Axel Rod's initial report. I want to make it clear this is not me personally disputing it, but rather what TNA's officials are saying. So apparently it's a multi-year deal, 30 million, and their agreement includes a 60-day termination. So let's read this. With 1.15.26 set as the launch date, sources also indicate WWE intends to end its NXT TNA partnership. Their agreement includes a 60-day termination clause, and the AMC deal activates it. So they're like looking to end the deal. So people, I guess like Blake here said, for clarity, my report never stated the NXT TNA partnership ended today. I reported that the AMC deal activates WWE's 60-day exit clause, and that internal sentiment points towards WWE preparing to use it. TNA's public comments reflecting the partnership as it exists today. They do not address WWE's contractual options. So Blake is saying he's sort of hearing things internally that the sentiment points towards that they're preparing to use that clause now, WWE, because if TNA starts kicking NXT's ass, then that doesn't look good for them either. However, I don't know, man. Carlos Silva isn't like out here talking out of his ass. Everything that he said is going to happen is pretty much fucking going to happen. And I'll just take his word for it that they're not looking to end it anytime soon. But who knows? Maybe NXT's like, yeah, we're getting out of here. But either way, their 60-day we can terminate this shit is in effect once they get a TV deal. That was always what was reported, and that seems to be like it's in effect as of now or as of the first live show. I don't know the minute details there, but NXT could pull out. Okay. And that could be interesting to see. And we'll be comparing ratings. I mean, it depends with the fans online too. What do they start doing? NXT shittier compared to TNA. What if that happens? Who knows, man? They might be like, fuck TNA. So it'll be interesting. But here's what Dave Meltzer had to say about this. Maybe we'll circle back to that. Let's just go through the nitty gritty. So PWI reports that TNA fans will be able to continue to watch Thursday Night Impact on TNA Plus as well as AMC. TNA Plus will also continue to be the home of TNA's premium live events and the full history of TNA. So AMC streaming doesn't have their pay-per-views. Maybe they work out a deal if they do good enough numbers and AMC adds a buy now button. Maybe they work out a deal where the TNA pay-per-views are on AMC Plus simulcast TNA or something. Who fucking knows? One step at a time. I wouldn't even worry about that right now. But Carlos Silva clarifies that WWE did not have an involvement in helping TNA negotiate their deal. No, we did all the negotiations ourselves, with me leading the charge on the TNA side, and then create CAA leading the charge as our representative and our partner on the deal. Look, WWE and NXT are very important partners to us, so we kept them in the loop. They knew what was coming. They knew about the deal before you knew about the deal, but no, they've got their own deals. They're very busy with their deals, so they let us go out and cut a deal and get on a major network, and I think they're happy for us, and we're happy with the way it went. So boom, and he does say, like, they let us go out and cut a deal. Now, that's like, well, what do you mean they let you? But the thing is they partnered with WWE to help get a fucking deal. This helped them get a TV deal. So obviously, it makes sense that it would be like, hey, run it by us. Who's offering what? We'll just have an open dialogue. Is that cool, TNA? Okay, we're cool over here. And that's totally fine. And so with the whole letting thing, I mean, that's kind of revealing, but that you have to understand WWE's the A side, so it only makes sense, right? It's not like WWE's completely fucked TNA over in this, and so it's like, we'll tell them to go screw. Who cares about that? Like, I'd be going off, well, why are they letting you do anything? Who cares? Like, if New Japan was saying, AEW, let us do this thing, I'd be like, why are they letting you do any? They shouldn't be letting you do anything. They haven't helped you. WWE helped procure the TV deal, at least Carlos Silva. I mean, that is like, they let you, bro. Come on. But either way, I'm just nitpicking there. And so Kazarian commented on it, and he said, I'm saying right now, the work begins. A lot of work has gone into this, but it's time to put up or shut up. It's time to put our foot on the gas and really show the world, show a much bigger audience what TNA is all about and what we have been about for the past 20 years. AMC is a big, big player, and this is their first venture into the live sports avenue. But when you look at their scripted dramas, they've had some of the biggest shows of the last decade, 2 decades. The bar is already pretty high for us, but I have full confidence in our team that we can give them something very, very special. Yeah, my prediction, he drops the belt on the opening AMC show. And so TNA president Carlos Silva speaks on the discussion about whether TNA or AEW is the number 2 promotion. And he told Denise Salcedo that we hear about it all the time and we talk about it all the time. We're competing with ourselves to be the best promotion we can be. Right now, there is a big, big number 1, and that's WWE and TKO as the parent company. Both WWE and the UFC are number 1 in both of their categories. We're very lucky to have a partnership with WWE and NXT, and we're going to continue to make TNA great as a result of that. Whether all of the talk around, are we bigger than AEW or is AEW bigger than us? Guys, AEW is bigger than TNA right now as far as pay-per-views names. I would say that their names they have a bunch of like, you think TNA wouldn't love to have Lashley or Moxley or even a Ricochet, like, names that were prominent, have been on TV for a long time, whether it be WWE or AEW. You think TNA wouldn't want Edge or Jericho? You know what I'm saying? So they do have names. Even Claudio, like, those are guys that I know more people know Cesaro probably than Claudio Castagnoli. But at the same time, like Claudio, these are names, man. So it's bigger as far as like Tony Khan and his dad's checkbook or pockets go deeper than they probably have more money than Anthem. I actually don't know. Does Anthem have more money than the Khan family, like as a whole? I don't know. I actually really don't know. But like, when the debate is who's bigger, we're going to see when the TV ratings start coming in, as far as who has the bigger TV audience. As far as the live audience, I would say the pay-per-view presence, AEW for sure. Just the weekly TV show presence, I think AEW's got them there they've got them there, but they're doing like, I think 3,000 for tonight's Dynamite. I think, or it's like 3,300 or something. So that's good for Dynamite. So they got them there. So I would say AEW's objectively the bigger company. But we'll see with the TV audience. We'll see with the pay-per-view ratings. We'll see with the invisible streaming numbers, what BJ Bethel and them got to say all about that. You know what I mean? We're going to start, and now we'll see over the next like 3 years, maybe TNA catches up. Who's got the most online hype around it? I mean, TNA's got a lot of online hype right now, whereas AEW just seems to get clowned for every fucking thing they do. And even when shit gets praised, it's just like robot praise. It's just like grasping for fucking straws. Like, people get more reaction comparing AEW to WWE than they do anything else. Like, sickos get more reaction when they're like shitting on WWE shit than when they're like putting over the stuff that they like, because there's just no real hype. Now, what's hype on the TNA TV shows every week? Nothing really. I mean, it's not blowing the IWC away every single week, but hopefully this will change that. And that's why they kicked that fan out of the show too. Again, your boy Phil called it. Don't miss. I told you guys, they kicked him out because they're trying to, now they can't have spoilers. They're about to go live all the time. There's new protocol in place. The random security guard there doesn't know that you're like a beloved fan. He just was doing his job. You know what I mean? Kicked you out or whatever the fuck. They just heard someone was filming and there's new protocol. It's unfortunate, but it's just what it is. And it's because this thing was about to be announced and whatnot. But as far as like what company's bigger, AEW, and that's just because Tony Khan's checkbook. Like, if he was in a position like Carlos Silva, he would be done. He'd be cooked. He'd have been fired a long time ago. But Carlos Silva says it's okay. You're allowed to watch all the different shows you like and be a wrestling fan. It's part of the competitive nature, and it's part of the wrestling sort of undercurrent that happened on social. But I think a lot of it is just a bunch of clickbait that's just trying to get people to click. We're going to keep trying to do the best we can. Everyone's already seen the difference, and they're telling us that we're doing better and we're going to grow. Oh shit, dude. He said it. He's like, yo, everyone's saying
the best guys, Tony Khan.
Oh my God. And we've got AMC to do it in 26. Yeah, that's the right answer for sure. That is the right answer. So I've talked about this a bunch, and we talked about this a long time ago on the show, like 6 months ago. And, times change. They do. And so this might not apply, guys. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to play it by, there wasn't streaming over the last, and I mean, during 2024, there was streaming and whatnot, but there wasn't, and they were doing TNA Plus, right? And that wasn't doing gangbusters, but it's like the streaming landscape itself has changed drastically as well. Since like even 2016 until 2024, from 2024 till now, almost 2026, it's changed the last couple years as well, big time. And So this might not apply, but if we're looking at the last decade of TNA being on the air, and I wonder if there's some way we could quantify like their pay-per-view, weekly pay-per-view to just, I don't know if that doesn't count, but we went over this like 6 months ago on PWT. So Switchblade posted this a long ass time ago, and the little quote at the bottom here talking about CW, this is when the rumors were CW wants to pick up TNA, right? And so Switchblade 97 posted Spike TV 2014 equals 415K. So that's the average viewership on Spike TV in 2014. You take all of their shows and then you take the average viewership, 415K. This is back in 2014. TNA's average was 1.08 million. Okay? Destination America in 2015 is where TNA was. And look at this wild ride between 2014 and 2016. Like insane. They even survived this shit. So on Destination America in 2015, which remember when TNA went to Destination America and everyone's like, what? And they went to Pop TV and people were like, wasn't that the old TV Guide channel that they just switched to, they play old TV shows or whatever? Like, y'all remember that? People clown this hard and you look at the numbers and you're like, oh, they're doing Collision numbers on these shitty channels a decade ago. It's fucking crazy to look back at these. But anyways, so the average show in 2014 on Spike TV, 415K, TNA averaged 1.08 million per show. In 2015, the very next year, Destination America averaged 228K viewers. TNA was averaging 330K viewers. Pop TV in 2016 averaged 179K viewers. TNA on Pop would average 310K viewers. So there's these sickos that are following TNA around. You know what I'm saying? And then you fast forward damn near a decade, 8 years go by. And they prove the same thing, essentially. Access TV, they do almost like double or more what the fucking double or just under or above double of what the average is. Access TV in 2024 last year, they averaged 26K views. TNA is doing 90K views. And you got to remember the TNA Plus stuff and all of they're building that. So there's we're not going to say it's 500,000 viewers and shit, but there's a bunch of people watching like over on streaming and whatnot as well. But it just shows you that these fucking TNA fans will follow it, and if it can grow and if it goes on a station or on a channel on a network like fucking any of these that you line up here, it'll do, you know, double the number or like 100,000 more than the number, or you know what I mean, just under double the number, whatever. CW averages 445K. So this was like 6 months ago or roughly around that. 445K. So that means what? TNA would average like 450 to 500K or 550K. Maybe you could say 100,000 more people than that if the trend continues, which through this gap here between Pop and Access, that's a huge gap of time. So it would indicate that even though it's been a while, like 2 years between 24 and 26, it's not like they couldn't still do that. It doesn't mean they're going to do that, absolutely. But if this trend continues, and hey, a lot of people said about AEW, they said, yo, if AEW's trends continue and these trends that we can point to other wrestling companies, they're going to start strong. And then over time, they're just going to slowly dwindle. And that's been happening. So why can't Switchblade and your boy Phil Blade over here be right about this, where I think over time we'll see them trend and they'll average. So I looked it up. And I tweeted this out, and I actually got corrected on this. So we're going to correct this live. Because when you Google it, it gives you 370K viewers. But then when you actually dig deeper, that's from 23. So actually, AMC averages in 2025, 317K viewers. So TNA, I think, will do like 350 over time, 400K over time. I think that's safe to fucking say that. With them being on AMC. I think that's safe if we're just to look at this. Now, if it completely blows up in our face and this is wrong, oh, well, we'll hold the L. but I'm pretty optimistic just looking at this trend here over a decade, right? From 2014 to 24, they held the trend of doing way better than the average of whatever they were on. The average is 317 so far this year, Q1 to Q3. So if they continue that into next year, TNA does what? 350, 400K? We're talking Collision numbers. We're talking, I mean, NXT does more than that, but we're talking, what if people go, oh, TNA? They were on NXT. I'm going to start watching. Like, what if WWE I don't know, like in America, where's AMC? Where does that all go to? Is it on this, like, do you get it with the same shit that you get like USA or CW on? I don't fucking know, right? It's different everywhere, every different country, it's different, right? But so I don't know. Someone would have to dummy me up or smarten me up to all of that and how it works. But maybe more people. They have access to 60 million homes, dude. That's all, folks. 60 million fucking homes. That's insane. Doesn't mean they're going to get 60 million viewers. It doesn't even mean they're going to hit the 400,000 I'm predicting. But I'm saying, and it might not even be right away, but I'm saying over time, if you give this time, I think they could average like 350K viewers. And then what's up with Collision? Collision's on the air the same night, and then we're comparing those. That's like what Collision will do, 150K to like 350K or whatever. So that's where the real battle is. I love that, and I'm so happy for TNA, and they have the potential to do like close to Dynamite numbers. So fuck Collision. They'll be competing with Dynamite, but they'll be kicking their ass on their own day the day after. And then we get to look at the ratings of NXT, which can go to 500 some thousand. And then you look at AEW, they're doing like 500,000, and Dave's going, that's really strong for them. And then you have TNA, which like, hey, maybe they start averaging 400,000. Maybe they do 450,000. Maybe their debut episode does like a Dynamite number, beats Dynamite that week. And we're like, oh shit, it's on, and we've been tracking it this whole way. I love being right. I would love to be humble and say that,
Just in from Phil Marks of PWT. He says, I told you so.
I'd love to be humble, but fuck all that. So here is Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week here, a little segment in between falsely copyright striking my channel and sweeping for Tony Khan. Here's what Dave had to say about the TNA.
Big news
deal.
for TNA.
It's going to be on AMC. Starts January the 15th. They'll probably do well, like just from hyping everything the first couple of weeks. And then, as with all shows.
It's just the fucking, it's as with all shows. It's just like the basic, everyone knows this. You don't even need to say it.
It's about a month in, you can kind of figure out where it's going to land. It's good for TNA. I mean, they're going to be up. I mean,
they're gonna be up. Yeah, no shit.
I think
he's already sweeping though for their first couple ratings are probably gonna beat Dynamite, and so they're gonna be up. But like, don't worry, guys, it's gonna go down. I promise. That's what he wants to fucking. That's what he's like gonna galvanize. That's like the little shit he's saying without saying. He's gonna try and galvanize sickos this way. Oh, don't worry, guys. It's still going to fail. The best guy.
Access was in maybe 35 million homes. I mean, I hadn't seen the numbers of late. It was over 40 million. It's actually about 45 million a couple of years ago, but obviously these, all these numbers have dwindled since then. So
dwindled.
I think it's in 35 million, around that range. So it's not quite double.
30, 35, 30. 33. Why are you so obsessed with 30%, Dave?
The homes, but it's also it's a much stronger station. So it's a big plus. So we'll see how they do. I mean, obviously it's going to help. Plus they're getting paid for it, which with Access, I mean, they weren't getting paid, but
plus they're getting paid for it. That's true. Like 30 million, that's going to help them a lot. And it's so funny because I've seen some sickos coping like, are people going to call out TNA and say that AMC's wasting money? And it's like, no one's going to do that because it's a new endeavor for them as well. And they're using pro wrestling. You guys notice that everyone uses pro wrestling to be like, hey, we're going to stream live on the AMC Plus app before we make a big deal with like tennis or whatever. Let's fucking try out this wrestling shit and work out the kinks. And you notice everyone uses wrestling to accomplish this shit over the history of fucking mankind here, over the history of television, pay-per-view, all of that stuff, streaming, everything.
They were kept on the air.
It's always like wrestling's the guinea pig. So
they were, you know, it's interesting because Anthem bought access largely so TNA could get back on television, you know, because they were on, you know, like absolutely terribly weak TV before that in the United States. So I'm wondering, like, if they're moving TNA off access, they would probably want to unload that, I would think. I think that the future of access is probably going to be in question.
So TNA was keeping it afloat and they weren't getting paid, and access might be gone now. It's just trying their hardest to doom and gloom some shit, you know? So moving along here, let's see. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, was TNA news. Fucking amazing. So, chat, we talked a bit about AEW. We're going to get into some AEW hot news here right away. And boy, do we have a lot. We got a lot of AEW news, a lot of good news. And I absolutely can't wait for it. Let's check in with chat here. We had like 300 watching across X and YouTube, guys, on youtube.com/ProWrestleClips. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Consider signing up for Patreon as well. I'm shilling the Patreon hard, and I've been uploading to it a lot. You guys can super chat in or become a member as well. It's only 99 cents. And you can also gift memberships this holiday season. And that's a fun thing to do as well. If you become a patron or a YouTube member, you get access to my weekly bonus shows, but also on Patreon, everything's like unedited and shit, you know, like I can't get Dave Meltzer YouTube false striked over on Patreon. So I'm pushing it hard. Check that out. Appreciate you all. We're going to get into some AEW news. Sean Anigans 158 became a new member right here. So we acknowledge me at PWT. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit retweet or heart if you're watching on X. That rules. Share that shit around. And I dropped a video about me going nuclear on Dave Meltzer as well. Me talking about the strike. Share that around too. Sean Anigans 158 for 10. Thank you so much. Says the best guys. Carlos Silva 26. Dave won't start shilling for him.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
If that's what you're
best
asking.
guys, Tony Khan.
Okay, Sean Anigans 158. Dave Meltzer won't start shilling for TNA, if that's what you're asking. Or if that's what you're implying. But yeah, he could be the best guy. Like, he could be the new booker where everyone's like, you got to talk about him for Booker of the Year and shit. It could happen if they just start drawing houses and doing awesome TV ratings and doing good pay-per-view buys and shit. And TNA Plus goes, dude, we're getting way more buys since we've been on fucking AMC Plus or whatever, you know, for the pay-per-views. Like, who knows, man? They can only go up from here, as Shania Twain once said. So thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Chris Walski for 2 says, indirectly, the TNA deal gonna test F4W online influence. Well, that's just it. Someone said to me too, I forget where they said it. Might have been in chat. Might have been. Thank you so much, Chris, for the super chat. It might have been in chat. It might have been in a comment. It might have been on Twitter. I forget. But someone said to me, like, well, Phil, Brian Alvarez has always shit on TNA. And it's like, well, this is the thing, right? TNA used to be shitty. So like, it makes sense then. Now that TNA's turning everything around and they're accused of fucking being shills, like, this isn't a good look for them whatsoever. You know, like, this just makes it look like they're hating just to hate and they're crying about TNA doing so well, in my opinion, and like being so faux outraged over the Kazarian. What's it called? The Kazarian Santana title switch. It's like, you guys don't even really care. And like, you can't say TNA gonna TNA when they haven't really done any shit like that in a long time. So I don't know, man. They got to quit crying and shit. Thank you so much for your support. What else? All Tournament Wrestling. Hook did not. Yeah, AEW's on. I was watching OSW vids. Switchblade posted something, a status here in the X chat. What is this link here? Switchblade status. What is Switchblade saying? We'll check that out. And we'll check you out, Switchblade. Thank you for commenting under. Is that on X? Interesting. Let's see. I don't know. I don't see it. Like, I don't know how you comment. I don't know how the X streams work. I just stream there and promote my other shit. You guys know what I'm saying? I'll like and retweet it though myself. So what did you send me? Did you send me it in DM form or what there? Little switcheroo. Yeah, okay, you're just switch. Oh man, okay, yeah. We'll get it, whatever. They show you out for all your work on the TNA shit and actually studying and learning. Sorry guys, let's get back to the goddamn show. Here's me shilling the Patreon, and I put all the archives of PWT. I'm also currently, well, they're not all up there. I have like 40 more shows to put up there, I think, but I'm working through it, and I'm isolating the interviews I've done with wrestlers and making an archives there on the Patreon. There's a bunch of collections, me watching a bunch of shit, reacting to shit, videos that I can't do on YouTube, like I just watched the whole NFL Films Tony Khan draft day thing. We EFAP that on Patreon, things like that. I watched Tough Enough season 1. Check it out. That's my shills. Really shilling the Patreon hard because, I'm getting sniped here by Dave Meltzer and whatnot. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for everyone's favorite segment. And it is called, let me see here. It is called The Best Guys, Tony Khan. Because there is some Tony Khan cringe in here, but it is AEW news time. And where's my Ichi Nissan da? Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Ichi Nissan da AEW news. I butchered the intro to this segment here. Adding too many sounds. We're going to clean up. But I was like, oh, I need more sounds. Now I'm like, I need to get rid of some of these. I don't even use them. Anyways, so, and then the latest sound. I'm going to put this clap on the soundboard. Then. Time for AEW news, folks. So AEW World's End. They've sold 5,497 tickets for a pay-per-view, 6,315. That's a solid house for an AEW pay-per-view. Pretty sad for them. I'm going to start being, now that we're in a new era and we have the middle of the week wars, AEW versus NXT versus TNA, I'm restarting my brain, and I'm etch-a-sketching marks over here, and I am going to be super optimistic and nice to AEW. Unless they do some bullshit, then I'll clown it and whatnot. And I'll just call it down the line. But like, as far as what they draw and all this shit, we're going to compare it to like NXT and TNA shows, in which case they're kicking ass. Okay, guys, that's how we're doing it. So good job for doing what Dynamites used to do like a few years ago. They used to do double that. Good job for your pay-per-view doing this. Okay. But honestly, five, like they'll probably sell the 6,300 out. Solid house for them. Good job. At least the wrestling company selling 6,000 tickets. Dynamite, I think tonight did pretty good though, like over 3,000. And so it also shows you though, the level of where AEW's at now. It's more comparable to NXT or TNA because their Dynamites do like close to their pay-per-view attendance numbers. Like the pay-per-views don't do that much more. So eventually it'll just be the same. But this was like last week's Dynamite and Collision. They sold 1,400 tickets, but they were in like a smaller venue. So good for them. Winter is coming on December 10th, 1 week from tonight. They've sold 2,001 tickets. So again, the show that Sting fucking debuted on, right? Wasn't Winter is Coming? Isn't that like when Sting popped the rating for them when he debuted or whatever? But the current setups for 2,300. Again, I think they're in like a smaller, or am I wrong about that? They're in a big ass venue, it looks like. So seats on map 3,400. Hopefully they can draw. I mean, Joe's in a world title match with Eddie Kingston, though. I mean, come on, dude. I don't think Kingston and Joe are gonna draw. I don't think that's the move. So speaking of attendances and ratings and whatnot, we might have a couple more. Last week's episode of Dynamite stayed consistent with the prior week, despite being on a tougher night, Thanksgiving Eve. Dynamite averaged 512K viewers, up 4% from the prior week, with a 0.10 in the key demo. So they're posting like 400,000, I guess 500,000 is the new. This is great for us. This is normal. This is awesome. And Dave's putting it over. Oh, they actually did great. It's insane when this show used to do 900K and shit. But hey, TNA's a player. TNA might start doing 300 to 500K. So, I mean, I guess it's good for the middle of the week wrestling wars. You guys know what I'm saying? I'm optimist Phil here. What can I say? As always, these numbers do not include the HBO Max simulcast. Year over year, Dynamite was down 5% in total viewers, with the 18 to 49 rating was down 33%. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. And I implore everybody to listen to Eric Bischoff and Raj Giri on 83 Weeks. I implore everyone to listen to how Raj sort of explains to Eric, oh, come on now, Eric, how the big panel plus data ratings work exactly. And yeah, a lot, they explain how you can't really track some of the shit, but I don't want to hear the excuses. Like, the fucking ratings are the ratings, and all the other sports leagues are super happy that they're doing big panel plus data or whatever the fuck. So, I just listen to Raj break down if you want to understand like why he always says this. Oh, it was using last year's ratings, so maybe they did a little better or worse. But here's the thing that I want to put Dynamite over for, though. Last year, they were only up 5% on Thanksgiving from this year's. I mean, we've seen them year over year down 60% and shit. So like this year, we've seen crazy numbers like that. So this is like, okay, only down 5. Holy shit. Okay, people are busy on Thanksgiving, or they're not watching AEW. They're watching, you know what I mean? You could argue that. But the key demo was down 33%. I mean, this is where Dave got 30% on streaming now. It's just inevitable. Yeah, but on Thanksgiving, was everybody fucking streaming Dynamite on their Max or whatever? I don't believe that. I don't really buy into it. But we have more attendance here. So Dynamite, January 21st, 1,600 people. They're in a big ass building with suites and shit. And they drew 1,600 people. Now, this is like 2 months away, but still, 2,700 is what it's set up for. They're not expecting to do much. And total seats are 8,000. So again, they're filling fucking an eighth. A quarter of the building, maybe, if they reach 2,000 tickets. It's like, come on, man. But their tickets are $30, so go get those cheap wrestling tickets right now, man. Because that's what Tony wants everybody to do. So, more attendance tonight. So this is tonight's Dynamite, dude. 3,380. So the seats on map are 5,644. So that's not bad. Like, they did a house tonight. Good for them in Fishers Event Center in Fishers, Indianapolis, India is what we're going with. Indy Hartwell. So yeah, dude, they got Okada and Pac, Moxley versus Castagnoli. $30 a ticket. Go see us some Dynamite. And yeah, 3,300. I mean, this was the update from 2 days ago as well. So I'm sure they sold the 3,600. The seats are only 5,600, so there's 2,000 empty seats roughly. I mean, maybe that's an L, but like, okay, like fucking drawing something, a little bit of something, you know? And that for an AEW, like, damn, that's only 2K. That extra 2K is what the pay-per-view is doing. So holy fuck. But Tony Khan, man, he can't help but to cope over shit. And before we get into his cope, he says they're closing the gap. And it's like, what gap, man? What gap? Like the gap in everyone's wallets, the gap in everyone's fucking attention spans, because they're shutting this shit off. What do you mean? What gap are you talking about that you're closing? But what we essentially had was a conspiracy. There was a conspiracy afoot. Okay? What happened was, and I wanted to put this in the title, but I also didn't spend time bookmarking each and everything because it kind of just got swept under the rug and no one talked about it. But Tony Khan pretty much had the dirt sheet sweeping and releasing fake, false fucking results for Collision. And we had let me see this. Someone sent all this to me and I didn't mean to just like gloss over it. And I wanted to make a bigger deal, but I'm like, there's so much other more pressing shit like TNA, like, okay, the dirt sheet sweep for AEW. We fucking know. But basically what happened was, people released a bunch of these fake spoilers. And so this is a DM I got. The sickos, this is from someone who's legit, okay, who fucking is just chronicles tons of shit, is on point with their takes, predicts a bunch of shit. This is someone on point, and they hit me up with a bunch of screen grabs, and they're these spoilers from the taping of Collision. And they go, the sickos are protecting Collision spoilers from Dynamite Dave now by sending conflicting reports. Last night on the Observer Radio, Dave said he was shocked he hadn't had one person email him Collision spoilers. So what? Dave protecting Collision spoilers? How did he not have one person? Or are the sickos in attendance there? Either Dave's not leaking them, protecting AEW, or the sickos there are telling Dave, no, we're not going to tell them to you. At every show, Dave just puts out a tweet or whatever. He knows someone who's going to DM him results all night for the shows and talk about, oh, the crowd was hot for this and they weren't hot for that and they seem like this kind of crowd. That's what he does. Okay? And then he does reports as if he was in the fucking building because he's a clown. And so this guy goes on to say, these nerds are taking these tournament spoilers very seriously. Geez, I wonder if IWGP champion Takeshita will lose to Roddy Strong. You know what I'm saying? And so I need to keep this. Yeah, so I'm pulling these up here. And there was a post. OMFG, did Tony get these sickos to send fake Collision results to Dynamite Dave to protect spoilers? Right? So we said, head over here. It's Meltzer Said What over here made this post. Okay. And this was sent to me. Did the sickos send fake Collision results to Dynamite Dave to protect spoilers for the Continental Classic? And it's like, whoa, dude, I think they might have done that. And so Meltzer Said What post this. Ian Carey, we've received multiple. There's an update on this report. We've received multiple conflicting reports regarding the result of Takeshita versus Roddy Strong. What do you mean? Like, obviously, Takeshita isn't going to beat or isn't going to lose to Roddy Strong. Like, it's just craziness. Or if he does, like, whatever the fuck. But Meltzer Said What got DM saying, these sickos are protecting Collision spoilers from Dynamite Dave now. They're sending conflicting reports. Last night, Observer Radio, Dave said he was shocked he didn't have one person send it. These nerds are taking these tournament spoilers very seriously. Geez, I wonder if IWGP champion Takeshita will lose to Roddy Strong. So Meltzer Said What here, just showing the DMs and stuff. I guess I was trying to be fucking private with it. I didn't realize he made a whole post about this, but Tony Khan posted, "It's apparent that those Collision spoilers about tonight's show were fake news. It's just my opinion. I think it's an example of why I don't believe every rumor I see online." Why are you even commenting on this? You phone Dave Meltzer. This is a week after Brian Alvarez is sitting there saying, Tony actually talks to reporters. And now you're just blowing up their spot, Tony, and saying, I don't believe any of these dirt sheets. Bro, you call them on the fucking phone, cuz. What are you talking about? And he goes, how can top sites get multiple match results wrong posting spoilers as news on a network TV show? Ask your Uncle Dave, dude. Why are you phoning him, telling him the results? And then why the fuck is he not? Why did he go, no one's reporting them to me? Bro, there was like a fucking coup to have these results protected. I'm telling you, there was some weird shit. Now, is that a little Alex Jonesy to go that far? Maybe, but like, fuck, would you be surprised? Like it looks like that's what's happening. So I don't know, man. They're just trying to protect results. And then Tony Khan goes, by the way, I thought the Thanksgiving Collision show tonight was one of the best episodes of this year. If you didn't see it yet, it's on tomorrow. Or it's on at whatever the fuck tonight. And yeah, it just seems like sickos and people are trying to like protect results, which is fine. I'm actually for that. But Tony, don't the same week that Brian's like, Tony actually stooges to guy. Tony actually calls us and talks to journalists. What's wrong with that? Shouldn't your job be to try and get the scoops? And it's like, yeah, but that's not, Dave didn't phone Tony on the air. Tony phoned Dave. And this is coming off the backs of fucking Trying Brian saying all the women came to us. A bunch of people came to us backstage after the Tegan Knox walkout. Everybody came to us talking shit. And then this is the same week that Brian goes, what did he say? I just said it before, but pretty much it's fucking, it just doesn't look good. And Tony can't be now this is why I don't believe in dirt sheets is what he's saying, but he's not. Then call out Dave. The fuck? Like call out these guys who are doing shit, who have been perpetrating this across the board for years. You're not going to do that though. So it just seems white knightish and very faux. And Tony is just talking out of his ass here 100%. Otherwise he'd call out other shit. Oh, I did have this bookmarked. Okay. So that's good. But it's super cringe that's what Tone's doing. And ultimately he's trying to close this gap. Okay. And I don't know if it's like the gap in Meltzer's, like where his hair's parting on the top. I don't know if that's what he's talking about, but he thinks they're closing a gap, and maybe he thinks it's with WWE, but he's working really hard to not let spoilers leak out there. And so Tony says that this has been an awesome year for AEW. We're the challenger brand in pro wrestling, and I think we've really closed the gap in a very meaningful way in 2025 in a number of key metrics. This was a big year for us because we've been doing wrestling every Wednesday night on TBS. Yeah, that's been every year. Every Saturday night on TNT for many years. Talking like he's been in the game for like a decade. Minimum. But we also added millions of new homes that can reach AEW this year with AEW on HBO Max. There's many reasons why 2025 has been a tremendous year for AEW, and most of all, it comes down to the fans. Whether you're watching on TV or streaming or coming to the show in person like tonight, everybody has come together. The wrestlers, the staff, and the fans. And they've made this just an awesome year for AEW. So I'm really proud of what we're doing here, huh? So he's proud of it. He thinks they're closing a gap, all the while, like, you have Amazon refunding all the pay-per-views for the last pay-per-view. And you have Tony Khan desperately plastering billboards outside of Survivor Series with Dynamite. Fucking, so again, they want to, like, where's any sickos? They're just like, great play, genius, get him, boss man, cook, goat. But meanwhile, it's like, if WWE did this, you assholes would be crying. If TNA did this, you guys would be roasting TNA and like, why are you coming at AEW, bro? But Tony, so they're always the victim until they do shit like this. And Tony thinks he's closing the gap. And it's like, on what? On TNA? They're closing the gap on you, asshole. And so Dynamite endings keep getting cut off on YouTube TV. And again, Brian and Dave Meltzer, Dave Feltzer, fucking have emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
And they're falsely copyright striking channels like mine, like Redax, instead, and they don't even know how to use YouTube TV or how to just watch their favorite show that they shill for. Fucking, they can't figure out how to do that properly over on YouTube. And I don't know what gap Tony Khan thinks he's closing. And that was the first portion of AEW news. We have tons more. Let me check in. We have a super chat here. Chris McCarty 71284 says Okada is in a tournament for a title he gave up. I know. It's just uninspired fucking it's just Drek. Nobody cares. Like everyone's not like people are just not caring about this as much. You know? It's must be said. And I even put AEW over for having that little bump in the 5%, but it's like, okay, year over year, like maybe that's just around the number that's going to be watching AEW in general on Thanksgiving because people are in the house. Maybe that's an indicator of like people were just in the house on Thanksgiving. Like we could play this any which way, but I think more and more people are caring less and less about AEW in many ways. And Okada giving up a title or giving up his title, but he didn't even necessarily give it up. Chris McCarty. He didn't even necessarily give up the title. It's just, well, he kind of like it's up for grabs in this fucking tournament, but he's got to win this tournament to sort of capture it back, even though he's the unified champion. But the unified title actually encompasses two titles. And so one of them can be separate at separate times or whatever. It's just stupid. And this is the stuff that doesn't work. And say what you will, in TNA, they do the shit that works. Okay. They're telling stories. They're getting you invested in characters. And now look at what's happening for them. So NXT, TNA, AEW, that's the new comparisons and the only comparisons we'll be making. WWE sometimes, like when Tony Khan says we're closing the gap. Okay, the gap to what? Certainly not WWE. That's just complete and utter cope. So let's move along here. We have Tony Khan Cringe. We have updates. We have things that happen throughout the week. And let's get into it. So here is Julia Hart just botching a moonsault, and she's always thrown these moonsaults stiff. She always looks like she's getting hurt on them. I made the joke, Vader's fucking moonsaults hurt less than these ones. And again, remember when Dave Meltzer criticized Stephanie Vaquer for the crowd chanted one more time, one more time, one more time. And he said, oh, they're just so pre-programmed there in WWE that she didn't do it one more time. And then we go to the cage match and Sky Blue and Julia Hart. There's a situation where someone goes through the table, but they don't go through the table and the crowd chants one more time and then they don't do it. And Dave never criticizes it and goes, oh, well, did you know that? Guys, there's 206 watching. There's only 57 likes. Run those on the YouTube channel. Run them up to 100, okay? I know that 206 of you, 150 more of you can hit fucking like, or at least 50 more of you hit like, you sons of bitches. Anyways, so Julia Hart, right? She doesn't go through the table, or whoever didn't go through the table, and then, you know, the crowd chants one more time and nobody does the one more time, and Dave doesn't criticize, oh, it's pre-programmed in AEW, Brian. Right? Now watch this. How pre-programmed is this as well? To just spot, move, move, move. Everyone plans out the whole match. If you don't do the dance routine exactly, then there's no calling it in the ring or adjusting or doing anything better. That's all I see in AEW. I got to be honest. The majority of matches are like this, where it's move, 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 move. And in WWE, this is why the refs are botching. That wasn't supposed to be the finish. The ref should call it as a shoot. I don't even want the ref to know the finish. Fuck you. They should just know who's going over. Call it like a shoot. And if the fucking person in the ring doesn't kick out, just call it. I don't care if it's for the title or not. Fuck all that. Why should the refs know spot? And you can tell now the refs are like, oh, this spot is supposed to come next and this wasn't the finish. Why do you know? what spot's supposed to happen at the fucking finish. Like, so stupid. But again, Dave Meltzer doesn't talk about the pre-programmed AEW PWG style of wrestling of spot, this happens. And you can even see Willow's just waiting here. Sky Blue's just waiting here. They're all just waiting. Everyone's just waiting for the moonsault.
Please don't kill Harley.
From the top, and she
Lands on her feet, does a little splash, and then what does Sky Blue do? She just walks in front of the pin. Look at this shit.
From the top, and she
and I'm not trying to bury Julia or Sky Blue. Like, Julia should not be doing this moonsault. She just shouldn't. Change your finisher if you can't do it correctly. Guys, in the back in AEW, she clearly can't do it correctly. Clearly, she cannot do it. So stop making her fucking do this move. Holy shit. Someone just be honest. Oh, is it because she's a hot girl and you're a fucking simp? You don't want to hurt her feelings? Shut the fuck up and tell her how to, or not, don't shut up. Pipe up and tell her how to do her fucking job. Tell her to not do that fucking move. Who the fuck is not telling her not to do that move? It's like the 100th time she's botched it. And I love Julia Hart. I like Sky Blue too. I like Willow. I like Harley Cameron. Look at this. So she just stands there. Look at the ref looking to the side waiting for Willow.
Oh my God! Wow. That was very.
And then she just knocks her into her lazily. And you mean to tell me that's not pre-programmed shit, Dave? Like, where's your criticisms for that? It's fucking crazy, man. So speaking of the women's roster, Lacey Lane, a.k.a. Kaden Carter, has officially signed with AEW. Good for her. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with her at all. And we got some more Cringe here, so we'll just go through some of this stuff. MJF met up with Lilani Kai, who's been showing up at like NXT. She's on a Legends deal. She's been showing up at NXT house shows, and she met up with MJF there. And she also met up with, I think, Powerhouse Hobbs. So that's good. I don't know if they were all at a convention or what, but it's good to see her showing love. And clearly she's a big fan of pro wrestling to this day. And came up in a way different time where, you know, shit was much different as far as how you got your break as a woman in wrestling. And so speaking of catching breaks here, Netflix's new bid to buy Warner Bros. Is mostly a cash offer. This, according to Bloomberg. The company is arranging a mega loan to be able to buy WB. There's also reports coming out, like in the entertainment spheres, that people are going to try and prevent and block this Netflix sale. Like, it's too much. You guys know what I'm saying? Like, Netflix can't own all of this shit. Like, that's where we're getting into monopoly territory. They're going to own all of WB's, like, legacy content and shit. I just don't know if people are going to be down with that. If Netflix buys WB, they'll own like 5% of AEW. And let's say they have TNT and TBS. I don't even see them necessarily canceling AEW entirely, but it just won't exist in the form that we know it. But speaking of which, Booker T refers to AEW as a retirement spot. If a wrestler's looking to wrap up their career, and he goes, I just wish they had AEW around when I was doing this thing, man. And I'm like, dude, they did. It was called TNA. Oh, thank you. And he's like, Ric Flair's still under contract from what I've been hearing. Yeah, dude, Rita Chatterton and shit. Like, it's weird, man. They just sign people up. I'd way rather be on a WWE Legends deal. The optics are way better. Speaking of WWE Legends and optics, Paul White comments on potentially wrestling again in the future. He says he isn't ready to hang up the boots yet, and he says it's just a week-by-week thing. I had a small back surgery done a couple of months ago. I've had like a major surgery every freaking year for about the past 5. So, guys, I point this out too, and people don't want to admit this, but you guys, and I'm not sitting here trying to be insensitive towards people's injuries either. But do you guys notice how everyone goes to AEW? They get shitloads of money. Tony Khan's their best friend. And then all of a sudden, Kyle O'Reilly needs neck surgery on this move he's been doing for his whole career. But now it's built up and he's so banged up. He needs surgery. He's gone for a year. Adam Cole's all fucked up. Big Show goes to AEW and gets 5 surgeries over the last 5 years he's been there. It's like, whoa, dude. Yeah, Booker T's not wrong. It's a fucking retirement spot for people to go and get their surgeries and get a bunch of money. It's for the Hurt Syndicate to be 50 and make close to what they were making in WWE or more and retire there and live out their 60s and their old age and fucking just milking this guy for as much money as possible. He's a money mark. I don't care what Stinkashay has to say. Stinkashay's out there fucking bragging on X to people. They're just mad that we're making more money than ever and we get more days off than ever. How much money's Tony Khan making?
The best guy's Tony Khan.
How many days is he getting off? Oh, none. He has more days on than he did before and he's losing money. That's called a fucking money mark. And that's why you're marking it. Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop lying about it, okay? You just explained how and why he's a money mark.
Stupid idiot.
That's what that means. So, yeah, Big Show wants to come back. Good for him. I say we get a Jericho reunion. One day. Someday soon. The Saudis will want to see Big Show in Saudi Arabia. And so that'll happen. Speaking of injuries, though, and weird contract situations and whatnot, Roosh is working through a bad knee. This according to Tryon Bryan here, okay? And so Roosh is working with a bad knee, allegedly. And he made it worse. He'll be evaluated in the next week or so and almost certainly undergo surgery. Dralistico suffered injuries to his ears in 2 different matches. He worked through it, but eventually it became too painful, and he's told he'd need surgery to fix it. So, like, none of these luchas they bring in can stay healthy. I love Roosh and shit, but, like, what the fuck is going on in this company with women and luchas, man? I've been calling this out for 2 years here. And so this happened where Roosh, his Facebook, he posted earlier today saying that he signed an AEW contract. Okay, so today he posts this. I started a new chapter in my personal and professional career. People doubted I could make it today. I want to say that I'm 100% AEW. Thank you, Tony Khan. Thank you, fans. And thank my LFI brothers. We can now rule the wrestling world. And then this is from 23 though. I started a new chapter in my personal. It's a copy and paste post on his account with the same video. So it's like, what happened? Did someone hack his shit? It's his official account. Is it glitching out? Is Meta glitching out? Like Twitter, all these apps are glitching out now. No one knows what the fuck they're doing. And so for some reason, did he re-sign and just do a copy and paste thing? Did they schedule this post on his other social media, but they scheduled it for 2 years in advance and fucked up or something? Who knows? It's weird. I don't know if Roosh re-signed anything, but I would just say a social media glitch. Speaking of signings and Big Show, Paul White believes former WWE star Bishop Dyer would be a great heel for AEW. I disagree. I think Bishop Dyer, he rules. Skyscrapers rule in MLW. They would rule in TNA. They'll be way more effective in one of these companies. In fact, I've heard rumors from guys who book indies and shit that Corbin and fucking Dijak, them doing the Skyscrapers thing is like, they're hoping that, and this could all be bullshit. This is just rumors I'm fucking hearing, but this is like, hey, this could get us back. This is a main roster type of act, maybe not called the Skyscrapers or maybe called the Skyscrapers, but like Corbin and Dijak. I love it. I think they need to keep running with that. Sure, go have singles matches or do whatever, do your own things. You have your own careers, but no, I don't think Corbin, they would just bury him. They'd put him in the Death Riders or some shit. And yes, because he's a bald white guy. They would just stick him in the fucking Death Riders or something. I swear to God, they would be terrible if he went to AEW. And like, I hope Corbin gets money and shit. I'm not trying to hate on that, but what would they do with him there? Like absolutely nothing. And he's one of these guys that, other than that finishing move, the end of days, like sickos clown on wrestlers like Corbin and Ridge Holland and these guys. They fucking got clowned on for being, they're just characters and they're just gimmick acts and they do comedy shit, or they're just like they're just big guys, like they wrestle decent, but they're just generic and shit. Corbin got a lot of that shit too, other than his finisher. And then when he did the happy Corbin shit, but a lot of people hated on Happy Corbin too. A lot of people in the IWC were hating on that and saying it was cringe. And like, that's what you're doing with Corbin and shit. So I would just say, skyscrapers, keep doing your thing in MLW. In TNA, they would rock. In WWE on the main roster, the skyscrapers would fucking rule. They need that right now. They need more tag wrestling in WWE. They need more fleshing out of the characters in the tag teams, instead of just like, here's a tag team, here's a team, here's a team, here's the Viking Raiders. Whenever they are here, they're just kind of like biker guys now. Like we need more than that, man. We need more. And Corbin and Dijak are guys where we know that they can cut good promos and shit, and they got size and they're believable and they got this new act, and I'm pushing for them to go WWE main roster. Just sign them back up. Speaking of tag teams, Tony Khan states that the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships could be defended in promotions outside of AEW. And it's like, he had no plans. He had no fucking plans for these belts, did he? Absolutely zero plans for this fucking belt, for these belts. And speaking of zero plans, they dropped this commercial, and it's the Young Bucks. Well, it's an ad. Maybe we'll circle back to that, actually. Let's go to ROH Final Battle, Women's World Television Championship, Monet versus Red Velvet. Monet's going to win that shit. Red Velvet's coming back from like an injury or whatever. She was the champ before, I think, or whatever the fuck happened. I don't know, but Monet, they're doing what they're trying to do in AEW is she's losing the big one for the AEW world title, because the original plan was for sure she just wins all the belts, but people just clowned that and sniffed it out and called it out so long ago, where Tony's like, okay, she'll keep losing to the world champ and then she'll just eventually win it. And that's fine. I'm okay with that. It's better than them just like giving her that belt right away and they're kind of milking it and making something out of it. I mean, that's all right. But hopefully Monet drives some eyeballs to Ring of Honor, because nobody really gives a fuck. And they're trying, like Nigel McGuinness has challenged Lee Moriarty for the ROH Pure Championship at Final Battle. And again, Moriarty's had this belt forever. He's a young prospect that they didn't build in AEW. Like, how the fuck is that not like a regular guy on your show that you built? It's crazy. You don't hear Brian Alvarez crying about, Lee Moriarty, fucking push him, he's ready. Like, they're just trapped in this infinite abyss that is ROH. And Tony now, instead of trying to get people hyped about Collision, he's just like, oh, let's get people hyped on ROH and let's send a bunch of guys down there. I don't know. Or like, obviously Monet's going to go down there, but like, is she really going to help Ring of Honor? Maybe some more eyeballs, maybe to help boost the attendance for their show that they have upcoming. But the Final Battle goes down, and you have Athena versus Persephone. Like, look at how many matches on this ROH card too, which I'm kind of okay with. Like, here's the thing, and I said this a long time ago, Tony Khan should just be booking ROH, and he should be just treating AEW like a super indie, just a pay-per-view every 3-4 months. And you just do like a super indie card. And that's sort of what he does with ROH. And I kind of like it. Like, it makes sense. I tune into these ROH, like whenever it's like Final Battle or Death Before Dishonor, I throw it on. I make sure I consume it, And Athena versus Persephone. It's like, okay, whatever. Like, all of these matches are just like cool indie matches. So Monet versus Velvet. Awesome. Survival of the Fittest. Lee Moriarty versus Nigel McGuinness, Ricochet versus nobody knows, but it's for the AEW national title. So Ricochet, man, they just give him, he butt kisses Tony Khan, licks butthole, fingers booty holes to try and get himself over online. They reward him with this NWA ripoff title that they're hiding in fucking Ring of Honor immediately. And Ricochet gets to go to Ring of Honor Final Battle. Some reward, huh? So you have Guevara. What's this match here? So Guevara, who definitely is still being punished. No, he's on a card with Monet, but I bet they'll be miles apart. But Adam Priest and Tommy Billington taking on Beast Mortis and Sammy Guevara. And it's crazy that Guevara is teaming with Mortis and is in a group with Mortis, who's dating the girl that he said he would grape. Or like, oh, you see her and you just want to grape her. He was making a joke. I don't think he should have been all like canceled and they made him do like a sensitivity training. It's like, all right, that's just corporate, whatever. And I wouldn't say that. I would never say, oh man, that girl's so hot, I just want to grape her. That's like such a crazy sicko. I get why the sickos love Guevara, right? I get it. It's just such like a fucking extreme thing, you know? But he was also just trying to say like, oh, like he was joking though. Was it funny? Not really, but he was joking. So I give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, it's what Patrice O'Neal said, the GOAT. Patrice O'Neal said back in the day, like, how many bad grape jokes lead to a grape? You know, he said that on the news famously, and he's right, you know? So I'm not like, people put way too much heat on Guevara for that shit. But what he did say was like, it's kind of cringe at that time. But at this time in 2025, he's teaming with Mortis, who's fucking dating Monet. Kind of funny, kind of weird how AEW is like a parody of wrestling. I don't know. It's so odd how they do that. And like, why? Do they think people are going to talk about this on the internet? Like, did they mean to do that? Is it to try and kibosh rumors? Well, fuck, I don't know. Tony just finds himself in these weird, peculiar situations, man, all the time. But Shane Taylor Promotions take on Skyflight, winner of Diana Aminata versus winner of Starks versus Sakazaki. And then Drain Bamager, this is stacked as hell. It's pretty stacked, I guess, for ROH. Speaking of stacked and outside of AEW, because the AEW titles, the national title, and this is how you know Tony Khan has too many belts. His AEW national fucking title gets created, and they crown a national champs quicker than they crown, or a national champ rather, quicker than they crown a fucking women's tag champs, even though they announced the women's tag champs first. And then fucking the AEW national titles on ROH. And then Tony, we just read it before, Tony said that the AEW women's tag titles will be defended in other promotions outside of AEW. And it's like, you had no plans for either of these fucking belts. This is the proof you introduced 2 belts that you didn't fucking need. You already have too many belts. And this is further proof of that, because you have your 2 latest belts being defended in other shit and no focus. Wouldn't you want to create a belt and then focus on it on the TV show? You create an AEW national title. Wouldn't you want to focus on that on your nationally televised fucking television program? Holy shit, you know? But instead, it's like, oh, it's going to ROH and there's more hype on it over there. So, speaking of more hype and being outside of AEW, Claudio Castagnoli has defeated Gran Guerrero to become the new CMLL World Heavyweight Champion. And he just ended the 3+ year long reign of Gran Guerrero. Claudio did. So good for Claudio. I'm a Claudio guy. He doesn't just set he doesn't just set the bar. He is the bar. Okay. And he stifled, you know, Gran Guerrero's 3+ year long reign. So congrats to him. And again, man, you go to AEW so that you can wrestle other places and win their titles for a bunch of money, or so that you can just chill at home or go act and shit like MJF and Cope. They just take off whenever I'm going to go act for a bit. I'll be back whenever. Fuck you guys. Or you go there when you just want to get your little nagging injuries taken care of. Now, I'm not saying this is all South Park, by the way. None of these people are real. I'm not even real. None of these characters. That's not Claudio, right? These are all characters who look like people. If it's all coincidence, right? If these are, but this is South Park. But this is the Upside Down, folks. But Kyle O'Reilly, like this movie's been doing his whole career. All of a sudden, he took it once wrong, and then he went and got it taken care of and chilled at home with. And it was around the time of the birth of his kid, and or to hang out with his kid, maybe not the birth of his kid, but it was, or I think it was the birth of his kid. Yeah, it's like, really, dude? Or is that just like a nagging because you've been doing that move and it's nagging? You just went and got to take care of. Like, the boys don't got to stooge themselves. I'll do it. I'll pull the curtain back for you guys, okay? But like, that's obviously, these guys go there, they get their 5 surgeries taken, Big Show, they get their 5 surgeries taken care of that they needed, right? They go there and they take their time off, they make their money. It's a money mark. It's all good. But I am glad that Claudio like set an accolade like that, I guess, or put an end to such a 3-year-long CMLL, like in the history books of wrestling. That's fucking awesome. And shout out Claudio. I'm glad he was able to pull that off, But speaking of outside of wrestling, we have some Dave Meltzer or outside of AEW. We're not talking outside of wrestling. We're talking outside of real wrestling, pals, the World Wrestling Entertainment. But, this story breaks and Dave Meltzer is flipping up his tune here. Okay. And so this is another Dave Meltzer dumb moment of the week a little bit here. It's like we're just weaving him into this show again like we used to. Yeah, so Dave Meltzer's being a dummy here. And so when Dave first talked about Tanahashi and Nakamura and all that, basically, and we covered it here on Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts in the audio form. DMDW, we talked about DMW rather. DW, that's Darkwing Duck. We talked about how Dave Meltzer, pretty much said that Shinsuke wants to do the match and Tanahashi wants to do the match. But I mean, WWE has the final say. You guys remember me talking about that. I know you do. And then all of a sudden he switches up his tune, man. And Dave Meltzer says that while New Japan using Shinsuke would have hurt their relationship with AEW, it would also be damaging to their long-standing partnership with CMLL. So at first, Dave, and I called him out. I'm like, how does Dave know this? Did he fucking call Shinsuke and Tanahashi on the phone? Did Shinsuke tell Dave they both want to do this? Or did Tanahashi call Dave and say, yeah, Shinsuke-san told me that he wants to do this? Like, how would Dave know that they both want to do this? Okay. So now he's just switching up the tune. And he goes, the basic gist of the story is, so now you got the basic gist and none of that bullshit you were talking before was the basic gist. Okay, Dave. Tanahashi did want to face Nakamura, but New Japan's longest partner is CMLL. And CMLL is now in a war with WWE and AAA in Mexico, with WWE owning AAA, Brian. I don't believe that. I don't believe that they're in a war with WWE and AAA as far as, like, they have Arena Mexico down. So, like, they don't got to worry about shit. But AAA is, like, selling tickets. They're getting WWE superstars there. So maybe CMLL is sweating them a little bit. And maybe they're taking the hype. I know my buddy JJ is like, dude, CMLL gives away all their tickets. So if Dave wants to talk about how good they're doing, they give away their fucking tickets. They just paper every house. They own the arena, But so Dave has this to say, except Brian, actually, it's like actually if they used Nakamura and would work. If they used Nakamura and worked with WWE to put a WWE guy in the main event of their biggest show of the year, then it's kind of a slap in the face to both AEW and CMLL. And that's not something that they are willing to do. So he does say it at the end, but Dave right there trying to pretend that it's not because of AEW. And Tony Khan going, no, please use Okada. Why didn't they put a CMLL guy? Why didn't they put Gran Guerrero in the main event with Tanahashi-san? He tried to, for a minute there, Dave did. He tried to say, well, it's because of the partnership with CMLL and not AEW. But then at the end, he does go, that's like, it's kind of a slap in the face to both AEW and CMLL. But Dave tried to twist and spin the narrative that, well, I mean, because of AAA, it would be a slap in the face to CMLL primarily. That's the gist of the story, but like AEW kind of too at the end, I'll say that here. Just fucking protecting Tony and shit and flip-flopping around what he has to say because he's just a full of shit con man, false copyright striking fucking loser. Now, it's hard to make sense of all of this shit at times. And we talked about titles being defended elsewhere, but AEW's fucking up because their own titles are being defended when in tournaments, their own tournaments. So they unified the fucking titles, the Continental and the International titles. Okada becomes the unified champ, and then all of a sudden the Continental titles on the line in the Continental Classic, and it's being defended, and the winner gets just the Continental title, not the unified or international title, even though there's a unified title. They're two separate titles, and oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. So Trying Brian, the email that falsely copyright struck me was a figure 4 online, whatever the fuck. So fuck F4W2 for life. That's F4 for life, brah, in my book. But you know, I guess if Okada, they're saying here, if he doesn't make it out of the group stage, he also loses the unified belt, which encompasses the international belt. So now the Continental Classic's also for the international belt? Or is it just for the Continental and unified, but then Okada keeps the international? I don't know. Lex Luger, what's the answer? I don't fucking know. Scott Steiner, what do you got to say? Oh, come on. That's not very fair, Scott. But like, I have no clue what the fuck is happening here, or how Tony justifies any of this in his head, how he doesn't realize this is convoluted, how nobody backstage wakes him up to this shit. And it's because he's a money mark. They're all just happy collecting their goddamn checks. It's just that simple. It's just that fucking simple.
So let's talk about
And at
Okada.
least these guys will call it out, but like, I'm never giving Brian or Dave the benefit of the doubt. Even if they agreed with what I was saying, every single word of what I had to say about something, we agreed 100%, I would call myself retarded and log off for a few days. Okay? I swear to God. That's how little I value their opinions now, if I didn't already.
And these belts he has.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Okada is still wearing the International Championship.
Yes.
This is one of the flags on it.
Correct.
He is no longer the Continental Champion. He had to.
I already think that's not true.
That's how bad this is. That's bad. If TNA did this, Brian and Dave would be like, oh, TNA, or I guess that's Tony Khan, but Tony Khan would be doing that too. He'd be texting that to Dave, but they'd be like, TNA. I mean, TNA is going to TNA. Am I right, Bri? Remember when Brian's saying that TNA is always going to TNA? At what point does tone always tone?
Hey,
I mean, I could be wrong. I presume that he is still the Continental Champion until such time comes that he does not win the tournament. I guess it doesn't matter.
If he does not make it out of the group stage, he also loses the Unified Championship.
Yes, that is correct.
That is one of the most ludicrous sentences I've ever heard uttered on a wrestling show.
It is ridiculous.
As of right now, he is the International Champion and the Continental Champion, and thus also
if this was NXT, Bri would be going, this is the worst show I've ever seen. If it was fucking TNA, he'd be like, TNA's gonna TNA, But instead, he's just like, well, yeah, it is pretty ridiculous, you know?
A champion.
The weird thing is he didn't come out with the unified belt. He only came out with one belt. So maybe he doesn't know what's going on either. That's possible.
You know what?
Great.
It certainly is.
Best Booker of the year. Fucking Booker of the year. Give it to him. Booker
Best
of the
guys, Tony Khan.
You can get on AEWshop.com, including you can pre-order the new unified title. even though there may not be a unified champion at all in a few weeks.
Worst marketing ever. Worst marketing department. Worst merch department. They have QT Marsh or Colt Cabana doing the commercials for the fucking. Hey man, everybody fucking hates on Colt Cabana now, right? Like fucking. I get that, like you guys like him in that company, but like you guys know that everybody thinks he's a dickhead now, right? Like no one wants to see that guy. Where's the fucking stars from your TV show? Shilling the fucking belts and all this stuff. And how you can pre-order these titles when there's not going to be a unified champ. And again, man, it has to do with the poor marketing. Check out my Patreon, guys. Brilliant marketing over here. Added a fucking tier and a bunch of new perks. And go and check that out. Patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times. You guys can support this channel by hitting like, subscribe, super chatting in, or gifting a membership. If you get a membership or a Patreon ship, I don't know. I do a bonus show every fucking week. Okay. And they rule. So, but speaking of poor marketing, they also dropped these toys. ShopAEW.com, bring the boom with the new AEW U2's vinyl figures featuring the Rizzler, AJ Bufumo. Now, here's something that no wrestling pod is likely going to fucking talk about, okay? Other than this one. The big boom guys are falling off just in general, too. They are not popular. No one watches their live stream. Their videos don't go viral. They do the Costco videos and they get some views, and then they do like, hey, we're ripping Pokemon cards, and they don't get views for that shit, and they're getting clowned on now. They always have, okay. But they're getting clowned on now by like other YouTube spheres where people are just sort of making fun of these guys, and how like this video came out. I can't find it, but basically this video came out of AJ Bufumo recently as well, how he makes these videos. And it's super fucking cringe. And like them sitting there and him telling him and the kid, like, no, quickly say the line like this and do it this way. And like you have other channels now, like sort of like A-logging, like trashing these guys and making fun of them. Even like who are these podcasts for roasting them and shit. And they're sort of entering lolcow territory, and it's like Hawk Tua type shit, which of course that was what was going to happen. Like, what did you think was going to happen? And so they're becoming LOLs, like just on the internet in general. They always have been, but like now more so than ever. And I want to try and find this AJ Bufumo behind the scenes video. And now they're dropping these U2's toys, and they're so late. Like they've come out so late. Yes, dude, we have him addressing the controversy. I'm going to pull both of these up, and we're going to do a little big boom action. And so basically there's this video where is it? I bet you they're trying to scrub it and shit, because I can find them addressing the video, but I can't find the actual video of them being cringe and him just like, oh, this is how you say this line. Say the line this way. Can you not? We're going to go over here, and this is Instagram. Okay, so.
And I was directing with Eric and also with Jay Kind of Funny, and some people may have taken it the wrong way. So some people's perception of things could make a difference. So what was going on there was our behind the scenes.
We're here with Jay Kind of Funny.
And this is Boom or Doom.
The chicken bake.
Or the double chunk chocolate cookie. And I also want to say there were 7 of us there recording content that day.
So basically, like, he's coping now over this fucking video that a lot of people are roasting. And it's basically him, like, just being super cringe. And it looks very fake. Like, it's not like he's being an asshole, but it's just, and obviously everyone knows this. These food influencers, it's all just fake garbage. So whatever, man. But the point I'm getting at is, like, they're being made fun of now. Like, their internet fame is dwindling on top of you put out these toys, and it's like, who are these toys for? So this, let's say you're a Rizzler fan and you collect Rizzler shit. Go get this Rizzler U2's doll, and then it says AEW on it, and it's got Big Boom AJ in his wrestling gear. And then maybe some kid goes, hey, mom, I want to check out AEW. And then fucking they see what? Fishbowl drownings and spikes in the back and needles through the cheek and fucking girls and death matches and shit. What the fuck? They have zero marketing strategy. They don't get shit out in time. They don't pull the trigger at the right time on certain champions. And they don't know how to make AEW feel cool. And if a kid goes and buys this doll and their parents are like, well, it's not WWE, let's check out this AEW, or they look it up online and they see some of the shit like the Death Riders are doing, why would this be, hey, we're going to market to kids? You know, a lot of people, you know, sometimes the formatting in WWE shows or some of the characters you see in like WWE shows in the first hour, you're like, oh, why is R-Truth being funny? Or why is like Asuka and Kyrie acting all blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that shit works well with kids, man. They got to market to kids. They like, we know that that's a part of their objective. With AEW, it's like, well, they look like they're trying to market to kids with shit like this, but then they're fucking doing insane shit. What would make any kids stick around and watch this show? So it's, I don't know, man. It's definitely just odd. Their marketing is odd. And it hasn't really made sense. And their lead marketing guy just left recently. Right? He's like, oh, I'm going on to do my own thing. And it's like, that's cool. But did you put together these shitty commercials and do all, you know? So this commercial came out. This is the latest AEW Where Wrestlers Work commercial. So let's watch this.
God. Nick Jackson with a 450 splash on the Luchasaurus. Unbelievable.
They need you in a meeting. Not now. I'm busy.
And I made the joke. I quote tweeted this and I was like, a 40-year-old adult playing with toys instead of doing his job. What a perfect analogy for AEW. Cook team.
Still the champ.
And like, okay, if you made an ad, again, like the Young Bucks aren't mainstream, and I don't know if this is like a viral campaign. If you did this ad with like Edge or someone like the fans and people at WWE were going, we want Edge, we want Edge. Maybe with like a recognizable guy, okay, this commercial might be funny. But like with the Bucks, what about this guy? If you were to see this commercial come up on your TV, like what about this guy would make you go, oh yeah, like I want to see this guy fight? It's funny that he's playing with toys. You know, like he looks like a 9-year-old with a fucking beard. So it's like, I don't know. Their marketing's all out of fucking whack. They need a full-blown rebrand. They need to get rid of this multicolored NXT 2.0 shit. They need to fully rebrand everything and like take a hard pause for like 6 months. One good thing they did, Blacksmith have announced official partnership with AEW. The inaugural capsule will feature merch from Kenny Omega, Willow Nightingale, Darby Allin, and Swerve Strickland. And then Will Ospreay's here for some reason, even though I guess because they made a jersey with him before. But again, like just sticking Kenny Omega in every brand deal. I don't know how cool Kenny Omega is. Willow's a good choice. I think Darby's a good choice, although Darby should be getting like Dirty Dom reactions by this point, and he's just not. He's just not, and it's unfortunate. Swerve as well, but I know that there's a community section of the IWC who like hates on Swerve, and they're like he's a phony and shit, and they don't like when he's like dropping his own shoe and doing rap songs and all this shit. So maybe some people will get mad. They seem to just kind of plug him in wherever there's like a brand deal too. But good for Swerve and good for Blacksmith, and hopefully they make some good apparel. Like if this Bruv jersey here is anything, like that's pretty fresh. If they collabed on that, I mean, like that's fresh. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it, as Conrad Thompson would say. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the responsibility of these things lie on Tony Khan's shoulders here. And we are on Tony Khan. Woucha. I don't know if he went live tonight. I actually didn't check. I completely forgot to check. as we've been deading some old bits and introducing some new bits here on the show. No, I don't think he went live. Yeah, this is the last one. We have it here. Tony Khan Walsh. I get a notification whenever. No, but Tony Khan's here. He's extremely happy. This was a week ago, but we didn't EFAP this one yet. And Tony Khan went live. This is a segment within a segment, and it is called The Best Guys, Tony Khan. So this one's like 5 minutes here. Let's catch up with Steamboat Tone, see what he's up to.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, this is on Spanksgiving.
I just wanted to take a moment and thank all of you. I'm very grateful for all of you, and thanks to all the great wrestling fans who make it possible for AEW to put on shows 52 weeks a year.
He sounds like he's on the Super Yacht Kismet right now.
Including minutes from right now, tonight. We have a big Thanksgiving AEW collision, a Thursday Thanksgiving AEW collision, and it starts in just a few minutes. And I just wanted to stop by. I stepped away from my own Thanksgiving dinner, and we're about to put Collision on here, and I just wanted to say thanks to all of you.
He makes his house guests. He forces his fucking house guests to watch Collision at his house over Thanksgiving. Everyone's like, what the fuck? Isn't there a Jags game on or something? Oh my God. He forces everybody to watch his fucking Collision show at his Thanksgiving.
I'm excited for the show tonight.
I wonder if they had to be chained up in the basement like that one sicko.
Continue the Continental Classic. We've got some big matches, including a big one in the Blue League with the reigning G1 Climax winner, the reigning IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Konosuke Takeshita, the Alpha, versus Roderick Strong, two former international champions and two top AEW stars battling in the Blue League tonight. Also a great Gold League match I can't wait to watch. Coming up just minutes from right now, Pac versus Speedball Bailey. Mike Bailey versus Pac, what a great match. There are so many things I'm looking forward tonight. Ty Mello versus the Toxic Spider, Tekla. I think that's going to be a fantastic one-on-one match. Of course, Tekla representing the Triangle of Madness, Ty Mello representing TJ. That'll be fantastic. Looking forward to that. Also, a grudge match between
the Triangle of Madness, which also has the Sisters of Sin in it. Like, just pick one name and make them stick. But what about when they're in a tag team together? Who gives a fuck?
Daddy Magic and his former protege, Danny Garcia of the Death Riders. That should be really exciting. And I'm really stoked and pumped up about Eddie Kingston versus Katsuyori Shibata tonight on AEW Collision. That's going to be a great one. Two of the top wrestlers wrestling tonight on a Thanksgiving on TNT and HBO Max. It starts just minutes from now, and we've got a big week. We had a Thanksgiving Eve AEW Dynamite last night. We've got a Thanksgiving AEW Collision starting in just a couple minutes. Get ready for that tonight. And, of course, tomorrow we'll have a Black Friday episode of ROH. We're just a week away from Final Battle. And a couple weeks ago on Collision, we had a great main event. And we saw the Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito score a pin over one half of the World Tag Team Champions in ROH, Roosh. And Roosh is also a former ROH World Champion himself. And Roosh had made it clear he wanted to go after Bandito. He had a big grudge with him now. And Roosh was angling and lobbying to challenge Bandito for the championship. And after some medical exams,
so
Roosh
you have the ROH title being defended on fucking AEW, and you have the AEW national title being defended on ROH. What is happening?
Knee injury. Roosh is not going to be able to challenge Bandito for the championship. I am going to instead ask Roosh to take some time to heal up. As a result, first of all, Roosh and Sammy Guevara will not be able to defend the tag team championship. So on ROH tomorrow, I'll address that. But also, Roosh will not be able to challenge Bandito for the championship at Final Battle, as we originally had expected. So what we're going to have is one of the most exciting matches in ROH, Survival of the Fittest. I can't wait for a Survival of the Fittest on ROH next Friday, with Bandito defending the ROH World Championship against Commander Hechicero.
The best guy. Yeah, you know, like those whatever they're called in ROH, Final Destination match or whatever. It's like a gauntlet match essentially. It's basically just the casino gauntlet, but I think the rules are I think it's elimination though. Like you have to pin to eliminate. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but either way, the last one he booked, people loved it. I enjoyed it too. I actually thought it was booked really well until the end. He convoluted the finish up, but they had the crowd like monster popping for. And it's like hard to admit Evil Uno's still in fucking AEW. Dark Order is still in AEW. What's going on here?
2 members of LFI, both trying to vie for not only to take that spot that Roosh was lined up to take.
Tekla rules. We are watching Dynamite if you're watching this in a clip form. Time cop, but yeah, Tekla fucking rules. Her promos rock. Her group rules. I love everything about Tekla.
As a challenger for Bandito, but also that will be angling to keep the tag team championships in LFI, and that is Sammy Guevara and Beast Mortos. And when you've got great challengers for Bandito like Commander, Hechicero, Sammy Guevara, and Beast Mortos, there's also a man who's undefeated in singles matches in ROH this year and deserves a championship match on the big stage, and that's the Vanilla Baby Blake Christian. So we're going to have a great survival of the fittest.
The Vanilla Baby Blake Christian.
We will have to address the tag team championships in ROH, but it's going to be a great final battle. I cannot wait for Athena versus Persephone. We saw Persephone and her team score a big.
So he's a little more lively. He's trying not to be so cringe, and it is only 5 minutes. So he's cut his time in half. Good job, Tony Khan. Clearly listening to PWT.
Big win in Arena Mexico over.
Again, though, he's always in a bathroom. He's like in the bathroom hiding away from his family. I got to quickly lie and tell them we're going to watch Collision when we're not. Hold on. I'll just be in my room, in my private bathroom for a minute. Shad Khan's like, Tony, are you okay in there forever? Tony's like, yes, father, I'm coming. Quick, my dad's here. It's my bedtime right away, guys. I gotta get going. Shh, don't tell him that I said that. We're all gonna be watching Collision. That was a lie. We're watching the Cringe, but
Athena and Red Velvet. Speaking of Red Velvet, I know she is anxious to get that TV title back around her waist, and she wants a rematch with Mercedes. They had a great match in AEW, and I think it would be something to really consider. So a lot of things in ROH happening and tons of stuff happening in AEW. The Continental Classic, Women's World Tag Team Championship Tournament. So many great things happening. So we're going to have a great Thanksgiving.
So great.
And I cannot wait for this Collision. It starts in just a few minutes. Turn your TVs now, TNT and HBO Max. I'll see you very soon. Thank you for spending your Thanksgiving with AEW. Thank you for supporting us. I really appreciate it. Thank you to the wrestlers and the staff of AEW. God bless you all. I hope you're having a great Thanksgiving. Thank you, and see you in a few minutes for AEW Collision tonight.
The tonight catchphrase too. See you in a few minutes tonight. Like he's trying to make it a sign off. Like I get what he's doing. But that, ladies and gentlemen, was AEW news right there. Round of applause for AEW news. That's going to be the new round of applause sound on the soundboard for AEW news. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Tony Khan.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
And absolutely amazing. You guys know what
Sometimes
they say
in life, you got to be a hoe.
about the marketing. Okay, so speaking of marketing, guys, there has been, let me see, like 400 around watching, 380 to 400 were floating around across YouTube and X. If you're on X, hit the heart, hit retweet, tell a friend or whatever, but youtube.com/@ProWrestleClips is where I'm live. I go live every Wednesday and Saturday, and Thursdays I do Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. Patreon, all the archives and content goes there, and it's unedited, unfiltered, unrestricted. And yeah, just consider checking it out, you know? Many Daves wish death upon PWT's YouTube channel, and they put a false strike on me. right? We're just trying to be what we're destined to be. So go to Patreon/Pro Wrestle Times, not PWT, many men. Okay, so just go and check that out. I'm shilling the fuck out of that. Because people can't abuse copyright systems over there. You guys know what I'm saying? And there's lots of great content like that you don't get on YouTube and shit. You know what I mean? As well. So, yeah. So who is this? Swerve Elite Land. Is this someone who has me blocked? Yeah, they do. And they're just talking shit to AJ Styles. So we'll, and then AJ responded. We're going to put that in the sicko segment, chat. And I'm going to check in with chat, but I'm just adding this to the sicko segment. Yeah, I see 200 watching on X. That means almost 200 watching over on YouTube as well. So just hit like, hit subscribe, all that good shit. Appreciate you guys. Check out the Patreon. You can super chat and become a member. YouTube members get access to the member shows as well. Okay, that's in the sicko segment for sure. Mercedes Monet. You want to talk a lot on a collision about Mia? Where are you hiding? Still crying about this title? Since you said I'm fighting a champion, do you guys hear that shit? I never show up to Ring of Honor. Get a little preview of what's to come this Friday. So price to pay on Manea.
Sometimes in life, you got to be a hoe.
Oh, boy. Okay, what's chat saying? We got WWE news to get into. And did we do miscellaneous news? I don't even think we did. Let's see what we got in here. We got quick miscellaneous news that we'll do, and then we'll do WWE news. And then we got a sicko segment. It's a long show today. We're chilling. We're hanging out. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Again, let me get into the miss folder here. Miscellaneous news. And let's check in with chat. Pull this up again. Tubular. Okay. We got a super chat. Creighton Rabs 45 says, I think Jim Cornette may have come up with AEW's new slogan. Redundancy, repeated redundantly. Redundancy, repeated redundantly. Yo, you're a poet and didn't know it. Goo. Yeah, dude, that's bars as the
Thank
kids.
you, fuck you, bye, boom.
It's like instead of then, now, together, forever. It's like redundancy, repeated redundantly. Forever. And then Shad Khan, forever. Hell yeah. Oh, good Lord. Mercedes Monet cutting a promo. Feels like Tony thinks they can get a TV deal for ROH if TNA got one. Well, that's what they thought Jericho was going to get them and shit. We need to do a great drinking game. Yeah, maybe I could line up some promos and then we could do that, like have a drinking game, but it's like a separate thing. Like we don't even do it on this show, or we do it on like Sicko Saturday or something. You know what I'm saying? Okay, guys, let's get in. Speaking of sickos, man, we got a lot to get to. So we're not even in the sicko segment, but ladies and gentlemen, this is miscellaneous news. Let's get Wade Barrett in here.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Come on, Cole. It's miscellaneous news. So Katie Taylor is set to face Ronda Rousey. Not set, but Rousey's been training. She's been in the gym. You know who else has too? Gina Carano. Bunch of rumors floating around in the MMA sphere that Gina Carano versus Rousey's being talked about for the White House, for the UFC White House card. And then now it's being floated around that negotiations have started for Katie Taylor versus Ronda Rousey in a pro boxing match for big money. Now, again, I haven't gone deep on this on PWT, but there's been shit floated around in the MMA YouTube spheres. If it's a conspiracy, I don't know. We'll hit in X-Files, but the MMA YouTube spheres is that Rousey's kind like she's crowdfunding money to make like a graphic novel or a comic book or some shit. And people are like, how does she just not fund that herself? You know what I mean? And take it from me as somebody who's like obsessed with, maybe not obsessed with, but like I'm all about like indie comic YouTuber feuds and shit. Like I'm fucking nose deep in all of this drama with these fucking indie comic book creators and shit. I love keeping up with it. I think it's funny. And my YouTube algorithm feeds tons of it to me. And so in that world, yeah, like I know a little something. Like Rhonda would easily, with the money she's made, you'd assume she'd be able to like fund a book. Like, why would you have to crowdfund it? Especially like with what the goal was set at, whatever. There's MMA YouTubers who broke that shit all down. Go and check that out. Look it up after the show, right? And I'm not saying Rhonda's hurting for cash. I don't know if that's the case, but like maybe it's getting tight, or maybe not tight, but maybe like she wants to go get that money, and there's like that competitive beast in her, dude. She's like an Olympian. There's something in her. There's a dog in Rhonda. Now she's gonna get mopped up by Katie Taylor. Yo, we're about to see Jake Paul get mopped up by Anthony Joshua, and we're about to see Katie Taylor sweep Ronda Rousey's ass. I'm sorry. Like, there's no amount of boxing training Ronda can do in this short amount of time to where she's gonna start like piecing Katie Taylor up and shit. But rumors are that Gina Carano and her might want to fight at the White House card as well. Gina Carano's putting out videos of her hitting pads and shit. That's the fight we never got, was Ronda Gina. That was one that actually they were going to make, but then Gina Carano saw that Dana White, he accidentally forwarded a fucking email or sent her a text that he was sending in a group text. He sent it in the wrong text or something like that, or someone screen grabbed and sent her a chat of Dana White being like, this bitch thinks she's fucking whatever. He was just he was Sammy Guevara and her. No, he was just talking about her all crazy. And she's like, hey, I'm not signing with the UFC. And then Gina Carano, of course, went on, became an actress, was being praised for her work in like X-Men and shit, some of these movies, whatever, comic book, action, Star Wars, shit like that, right? And then like Disney canceled her because she said some shit. She was like, people are being persecuted today, like Jews were in Nazi Germany or something along those lines. I don't even remember. It's years ago now. And then she's sort of been vindicated, and Disney's sort of like, everybody, the media landscape, I guess, is going more conservative. That's what Niccolo Piccolo broke down again. I bring all of this to tell you that we might get Ronda back. She's trash pro wrestling. People in MMA like Jimmy Smith, who used to be a WWE commentator, I always tie it to pro wrestling, folks. He went on his pod and was like, yeah, people fucking don't like Ronda. Like the camera girls, the camera ladies have like stories about her. Or like the interviewers have told stories about her, and he tells a story. He's done commentary for Bellator, WWE, UFC, all that shit. So we're not going to get her in pro wrestling, but she's going to go do like, not influencer boxing, but like Saudi Arabia boxing / maybe this gets tagged on with an influencer fight. Like the Jake Paul fights have featured Katie Taylor and like Amanda Serrano and whatnot. So like we're getting legit fights on freak show cards now and shit. So who knows if this is even going to happen, but Ronda making a comeback to combat sports, her versus Gina in an MMA fight, I would love to see. I actually think Ronda would have the edge on Gina. Gina was there first. She started, I think, earlier. I think she might be a little older. She's not Olympic level. She retired earlier, while Ronda was like in her peak. Gina had already like retired. So I think Ronda would beat her in MMA, but in this boxing match, Taylor cleans Rousey's clock for sure, like without question. Speaking of having your clock cleaned, Vince McMahon. Yeah. Vince McMahon. Okay. gets talked about by CJ Perry, Lana, who reflects on the time Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis rehearsed a kissing scene. Get over here and kiss me, pal. It's not gay if it's make-believe. Yeah. Hey, Johnny Ace, I'll send your ass back to Japan if you don't kiss me right now. Kiss my ass right now. And so Lana says it was a little awkward when I had to practice that kiss with Dolph Ziggler, and my, at the time, boyfriend was in the room. The whole thing was so funny because Johnny Ace and Vince showed us what we need to do, and they get up real close, like super close, showing us how it needs to be done. Oh, God, he's gay. He's exposed. Bret Hart told the truth. Vince has multiple gay lovers. Like, right, dude? Vince with HBK, now Laurinaitis, all this sussy shit coming out about him. Listen, coming out of him. Yeah. That's the slushy stuff that comes out of me, pal.
Sometimes in life, you got to be a hoe.
I'm just joking. This is all jokes, and yeah, I'm sure it's not. Sure, there's nothing to it, and hey, no shame in it. No shame in it. Maybe that's why he was allegedly, doing what he was doing to young ladies. Maybe he just like resents women and really secretly loves dudes, and he just can't come out to the world. Vince, come out to the world, bro. Time is precious. Do the right thing. We still will all love you, bro. Don't or actually, maybe we don't all love you anymore, but maybe it'll explain some of this fucking heinous activity. How about that? We won't judge that aspect of your character. How about that, bro? How about that? Okay, moving along here. Zesty. So Zesty McMahon here. So Lana also opened up with Giga Chad Chris Van Vliet about Rusev serving her divorce papers on her birthday. Okay. And how she felt about that. And then they got back together. So they were like on again, off again. And it was kind of confusing because people thought she was dating Damian Priest. And people also, there was rumors, whatever. I don't know, whatever.
So how are things with you and Miro now?
Rumors she was like, with someone else kind of in wrestling, but whatever. She's with Miro. It's like it's someone's wife. I don't want to fucking.
Oh my God, things are really good.
Because there were reports. Did he actually file for divorce?
See, Chris Van Vliet knows that he did, but he's so profesh. I'm not. That's why he's in this position. That's why he gets the banging interviews. Shout out Giga Chad Van Vliet.
He did file for divorce. Yeah.
And you guys were separated for a while before that.
Yes. We were very much like on, off for about a year before that. And got separated and almost divorced several times before that. And then, the story on my podcast is true. According to me, he served divorce papers, wanted them to get to me on my birthday for whatever reasons.
On your birthday?
I know. It sounds so insane. I don't know if
You know why they rectified it? Because he did some real hurtful shit because she really hurt him. I guarantee it. And so now they're on like level ground. If they can get past that, some of the strongest relationships can come out of shit like that. And that's why she's cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Because that is a fucked up thing to do, but she's not like, well, I also like, why would someone do that? Does Rusev just seem like this this ruthless, I'll hurt your feelings type of guy? It just seems like she could have did something too. And I'm just glad that they worked it out. They're a way better couple. Like, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I want to see Lana on screen with Rusev again. She can just cut promos for him, and like she can do a fake accent or not, I don't care, but just valeting him and just laying in the cut Miss Elizabeth style. Like, that's all we need her to do. I would love to just have her there managing him. They work so well together, and Rusev's been awesome since his return, doing a lot of jobs, which is good, but I think it would elevate him as well in his presence, and it's not rehashing old shit, because he's sort of still like his AEW, I'm the Redeemer. He's still sort of more in that lane. And then now he kind of wears like the tidy trunks like he used to as Rusev, Alexander Rusev. But Lana just adds to it. It's just the appeal of them together. Run those likes up, chat. 11 people hit like, or I'm banning you. No,
I don't know what I did to my brain. Like the whole time I thought he was like doing a storyline or something. And I know that sounds so weird. Like now looking back, I'm like, I think I did that to protect myself, like, oh, he doesn't mean this. He doesn't mean this. Like he just wants to be separated. That was really hard for me, but it was one of the greatest moments of my life because that was when I really cut myself off from the world. It was right after I got released from AEW. So it was like divorce papers.
She got released from AEW.
There's AEW release all in like a week. And that was hard. That was really hard because I felt like, and Miro even talked about that. Even if we got divorced, we want to work together still.
Yeah, you guys remember like her finger got weirdly infected as well around that time. You guys remember that shit? That was scary.
And so he had gone to Bulgaria. I was waiting for him to come back. And I was like, okay, I love Miro. He's my family. Like, even if we maybe at different moments didn't see eye to eye, we weren't on the same page, we wanted different things there for a moment, we still had incredible love for each other because, I don't know, we were family. We're best friends. We wanted to work together regardless. So Miro was really unhappy too when I got released because he was also looking at AEW as like, take care of my wife, ex-wife. So it got really complicated, but everything happens for a reason. And
so she also said that Rusev wanted to wrestle every day in AEW. And she also said that she has to buy her own Survivor Series tickets, which we might talk about in a bit, but she's signed to like a Legends. She just calls it Legends, just like she said, release from AEW. Like, I think they just didn't renew her contract or whatever. And so, again, it's just layman's terms. She's just talking, right? There are people like you and me. She doesn't sit there and get triggered like the IWC. Oh, it's actually not released and all this shit. Like, she doesn't fucking care. Here's the thing, right? She is on like a Legends nostalgia, whatever IP deal. And they're just doing a bunch of those. They fucking rule. And again, put her in as a manager in the video game. She could come back and just be a manager, but like, I don't think they want to use her on TV. There's also like, now again, people thought she was like dating Damian Priest. We'll talk about this because this was like on TikTok. You have Rusev there. I'm throwing out a theory. Do you guys think maybe you can let me know in the comments or in chat below or to the side, to the right, depending how you're hanging, where you're watching here. Do you think maybe there's some sort of like, because why won't they bring her on TV as well, but they'll sign her up to a Legends deal, but they're like, we're just going to sign you up because Rusev's here and we'll use your IP and shit, but then we'll call you Lana, and if we need you, we'll call you. You can do whatever, and but you got to buy your own tickets to shit. Like, we don't really care what you do. Why would they sign her up like that? Sort of to appease Rusev. Also, why is Priest wrestling on Main Event, which we're going to talk about in WWE news? And JJ's talking about, well, Lola Vice got punished. Like, ask anyone. Being sent to Mexico. Doesn't matter how hot Mexico is. Getting sent down to Mexico is a fucking punishment from where her trajectory seemed like she was going to be a Raw or SmackDown superstar type thing. And she's over there and shit. It's beneficial for both parties, but Lola Vice kind of got heat. And then Priest went from being world champion to he's wrestling in Main Event and he's there to just get other guys over, it seems like. This whole, like, since he lost the world title. And I don't know, maybe do they view him like, is there something that we don't know? Is he on the back of his career? We'll speculate on that a little more later, but is there heat with the whole Lana thing too? As far as like, well, there was the rumor that Damian Priest was dating Lana, because to what my guy JJ was saying, JJ Alexander, he was saying, like, I think it was on this show or on his show, like, Priest there was rumors he was dating Caden Carter or whatever. And then he was dating Lana. And then when Lola went public with their shit, that got heat on them. And I was like, what? I don't really know why would that get heat on them and shit? And he was talking about, well, there's like a relationship dynamic and there's this whole thing. And I talked about this on the show too, with Cross and Scarlett. It's like, they're already going out of their way to put people on shows with their wives and shit in WWE. Like if you're on SmackDown, Black and Zelina Vega are on SmackDown. She went back to SmackDown because Black was going back to SmackDown. You know what I mean? they are going out of their way to like help couples out in that way. And that's fucked up for the company to do that on top of it. Like, that's an incentive. That should be almost like incentivized in contract, like written in paper. We'll also let you work with your wife. Like, what other job do you get to just work with your best fucking friend all day? You know? So, yeah, the point I'm getting at is maybe they also just don't want her on TV because it could be a bit of a mess there relationship wise, or if and Rusev's a consummate profesh, you know, or maybe there's some heat on Priest because he's on main event, and maybe this goes back to that. I don't know. You guys know I connect the dots, I puzzle piece shit together, and I think I'm on the forefront of a theory here, and maybe something else comes to light, but I don't know, man. It is incredibly unfortunate, but she is luckily signed to a WWE Legends deal, and I threw that in miscellaneous news because it's like she's in this neutral zone of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Lana's in like wrestling limbo. She can go do conventions, go do whatever the fuck, but she's working, I think, with Paradigm, and they're helping her, and they work with a lot of WWE folks, and they're pushing out her pod and her book, and they're trying to get her acting gigs and whatnot, but WWE will give her a Legends deal, but they won't. They're like, yeah, you just stay over there. Like, we're keeping you at arm's length, but Rusev's here. He's all good. But like, you just kind of, we don't know. We'll give you some money to just say you're signed with us because Lana, you know, but like, it ain't fucking, there ain't much more to it than that. I find that all curious, but I might just be Phil Smarksing out way too hard about something. There might not be anything there. Speaking of marking out hard, the Hardy Boys will be taking on Lance Anoa'i and Zilla Fatu, the indie extension of the Bloodline. Because Lance Anoa'i recently was released from WWE NXT, and we never really got to see him on TV, unfortunately. 2 more likes, guys, to 100. And Zilla Fatu's been crushing it, and he's been repping the Bloodline. So this is like indie Bloodline versus the Hardys at Winter Warfare. And it's at HOG Hog Wrestling, so I'm not sure if JD will be. I say that about every HOG show. Oh my God, I can't stop going back to it because it's so funny to me. Not that he gets pulled off the show, but just that like he does commentary for it. I think that's awesome. But yeah, JD, am I gonna be? It is. You guys have to admit, even if you guys like JD, I'm not hating on JD. Listen. It's funny objectively that he doesn't. Are you on this show or not? Is Monet, if AEW's got a presence, are you not allowed on them just in general? Is that in writing, bro? Why do you tolerate that shit? It's pretty funny. But it's TNA and some Bloodline action, so maybe no AEW presence. Hopefully JD can do some commentary on Winter Warfare. Go. Speaking of warfare, Kenzie Page won't forget the NWA Power on Roku debut of Greta Wrestling. Okay, and NWA is making a play as well. Now, they are going very old school. They got this like Colonel Sanders, Kentucky Fried Chicken outfit. Like, the logo for Kentucky Fried Chicken? He's got like the tassels. It's like a guy looking like Colonel Sanders. You guys know what I'm saying? And he's like, who am I thinking of? Tennessee Lee. Kind of like a character like that. Boss Hogg from fucking Dukes, right? Dukes of Hazzard. He's one of these types, and he's like, I run NWA over down over now, And I mean, they're trying. They're doing their thing. Or what did I say? NWA or AEW? I can't remember what I just said. Either way, NWA. They're trying. They're doing their thing. They're on Roku. I wish them all the best. I hope they're in the conversation with TNA, NWA, NXT, AEW. I hope that they're all in the conversation together. Right now, I'd say NWA and MLW are kind of more on the same wavelength, with MLW ahead of them. In between, I would say it goes WWE, AEW, or WWE, NXT. We'll just get WWE out of there. NXT, AEW, TNA, MLW, NWA. That's my ranking. You guys can agree with that or not. Either way, though, they got this giant prospect, Greta Wrestling. Go and give her a follow, man. She only has 164 followers. NWA's 18-year-old giant. Look at this.
Monstrous Greta over the top rope. Towering Greta.
18 years old. Look at this chick. She looks like Brock Lesnar's daughter swallowed Brock Lesnar's daughter.
She's got her by the goozle. Kenzie, remember the neighborhood.
With all due respect. Okay? I like the fucking giant-sized women in pro wrestling. I like the Rhea Ripleys and the Jade Cargills and the Lash Legends and the Nia Jax. I'm all about it. Let's go, girl, man. I like it.
What a choke slam. Monstrous Greta.
Yo. Like, she's a monster. 18. When do women stop growing? I know for dudes, like, she's not even at peak height yet.
Throat. She's got her by the goozle. Kenzie, remember the
Got her by the goozle.
neighborhood. What a choke.
And not a bad choke slam, like gets it, has the facials down, took her time with it, didn't fucking, and like I don't know if she needs to update her bio if she's still 18 or what, but like goddamn, she is ginormous. Like that rules. Who's that girl who was on LFG, that big jacked, that Humphreys, I think was her last name. She fucking ruled too. Where's she? She needs to be like on the main roster. We need to, we need to turn some people into fucking stars here with unique looks like that. I mean, could Greta Wrestling, is she green? Yeah, of course. Am I saying make her world champ? Maybe. Sometimes Big Show, sometimes someone like the Big Show's got to show up and win the world title against Hulk Hogan. You know?
By the goozle. Kenzie, remember the neighborhood. What a choke slam. Monstrous.
It's like from Deuce Big Old Broad. No, what is it? Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo. That's a huge bitch. That's what it is, man. That's a big bad bitch right there, dude. I would not want to fucking meet her in a dark alley. So I don't know. We're keeping our eyes on Greta Wrestling. Go and follow PWT Universe. Show her support. Show her love. I'm all about it, man. Hopefully she develops well and take your time. I think NWA, Roku, take your time, develop there. 18 years old. Don't even think about NXT or any type of shit like that right now. Give that shit 5 to 10 fucking years. Maybe not 10, right? Well, maybe 10 when you're 28, get into NXT, 27, 26, around then start thinking about if you can make money off this size. And she's already like working well. Like she's more convincing than Satnam Singh. No offense, but it's true. Speaking of no offense, we have Adam Ray posted this. Adam Ray comedy. Now, guys, I know that here at PWT, I laugh at like sometimes the Austin comedy scene is whatever. And earlier we talked about like Jeff Dye, and some of this stuff has overlap into pro wrestling. Obviously, you see here Chris Jericho. He's done improv, he's done comedy and shit, and overlapping. He likely knows Adam Ray. Adam Ray, though, is fucking hilarious. I don't care what anyone says, dude. I don't care. Like, I watch all these videos from like Elephant Graveyard and American Redact and Too Lazy to Try and stuff, right? And they shit on a lot of these comedians and stuff. And they shit on Kill Tony. I think Kill Tony is a hilarious fucking show when you just think about what it is. Like, if you watch it, you know that it's not like people who go up there and pander. One of the main criticisms I notice in all these videos is they criticize Kill Tony for people just go up there and pander and say retard and then they get a pop. No, that's not true, bro. Like when people go up there and pander, it gets so cringe. Like people don't like political pandering anywhere. I truly believe that. Now, do those fuckers politically pander on their podcasts and shit? Yes. Comedians, I don't care what your takes are on fucking politics and shit. I think that's cringe to have all these politicians and shit. You see like all these guys, Nelk boys, you see they're talking all these fucking like world leaders and stuff. No one wants any of that. Chug a bottle of vodka and pass out like a dumbass. That's what we want to see you do. Like it's cringy, but Adam Ray's like legitimately funny. He was on Mad TV when they tried to revive it. He does like characters. He does characters so well. He does a hilarious Joe Biden. And like he'll do the full-blown makeup. He does Dr. Phil, which he did for like years, and he's retiring that show. The Dr. Phil Adam Ray show. And he does Bruce Robbins here. which is, I think, like a motivational speaker guy, one of his characters. He's like a character guy, you know what I mean? I'm sure, was Adam Ray on SNL? I don't know if he ever made it to SNL, but I'm sure he's auditioned and whatnot. And he's sort of in that Austin, like he was just on the Joe Rogan podcast recently, you know, but he's just genuinely a funny guy. He's so good at impersonating people. He does a hilarious Jack Sparrow as well, which is like kind of a played out impression, but his is so on point. And yeah, he does this Bruce Robbins thing. And I say all of this to say another wrestler like Lana, who's in Limbo, Chris Jericho, met Bruce Robbins at the Comedy Store, and Jericho living his best life before his WWE return, going semi-viral, right? 1.3K likes. I'll give it a heart. Almost 50K impressions. And you know what I mean? He does comedy on his boat and all that stuff. And so he's in that scene and whatnot. And he's just doing random side quests and popping up on carpets and events and doing whatever the fuck since his absence from AEW. And it's all leading up to a Royal Rumble return to WWE. I'm positive of it. And, yeah, wild Chris Jericho appears.
How are you, sir? What's your first name?
And he's not, is he in AEW? I don't think he's in AEW. That's why it's miscellaneous news,
Chris,
folks.
Chris, I like your ponytail. Business in the front party. Does the carpet match the drapes?
Yes.
Okay. Wasn't expecting you to answer that. It's a personal question. Chris, is there a place, have you traveled before?
A few times.
Yeah, do you have a favorite place you've ever been to?
Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
I think you just made that up. Is there a place that you'd like to go to? Is there a place in the world, Chris, that you've never been to that you'd like to go? If you had unlimited funds, if you met Dan Bilzerian at Dobrik's Pizza after the show, anyone know who Dan Bilzerian is? He's a big buff guy with a lot of money, and girls will just do just about anything to him because he has a crossbow and a bow. So he's on Instagram. Check him out. But if you knew that guy, if you had unlimited funds, Chris, and you go anywhere in the world, where would you go? Where would you go? What's
like he's wearing prosthetics, man. Like he don't look like that. You know what I mean? He does full blown. His Joe Biden is unreal, dude. Him and Shane Gillis, like Shane did his Trump and then he did his Biden, and they were just like, oh my God, it was unbelievable. They did that on a Kill Tony. So that was funny. Triple H did good on Kill Tony too, to keep it wrestling related. He actually had a really good appearance. He was able to like riff with guys and whatnot.
City, what country, what place? Just don't even think, just say it. Don't think, just say it, Chris. Think about it and then say it. Think about it, take a second, and then right into the microphone, say it for me, Chris. What city, what country, what place? Could even be a continent. What place in the world would you like to travel if you had unlimited Dan Bilzerian money, Chris?
Fiji.
Fiji. Okay, good answer. Got a couple of woos for Fiji. Some Fijians out here. Chris, is there any way? Is there any fucking way that I was going to know you were going to say Fiji?
No fucking way.
That's a map of the world. Fiji's in there somewhere. Thank you so much, Chris.
There we go. He's just like making fun of mentalist shit or whatever. That's hilarious. But Chris Jericho makes an announcement after years of requests. He's finally back on Cameo, baby. And Chris Jericho, look at what he switched his shit to. I am Jericho. Chris Jericho. He switched his name to Chris Jericho Social Media Team Management. Like letting everyone know he doesn't even run his account. Ever since that the NDA thing came out, all of a sudden he doesn't use his Twitter anymore. It's kind of funny. But yeah, here's Jericho. He's back on Cameo. I quote tweeted this. I was like, how much to get a Youth Gone Wild Redux?
Hey, it's Chris here, and I'm super excited to announce. Finally,
he's back on Patreon. You guys know why? Because it's the holiday season. And this is his last, like, okay, let's pile up this bag. Once I go to WWE, I can't do Cameo. And maybe you can. Like, I know some of the NXT guys have Cameo. I don't know if WWE controls that or not. But this is for sure like a dude. It's the holiday season, and I'm going to grind up this Cameo bag right before I go back to WWE. Jericho's indelibly smart when it comes to business.
The wait is over. I am finally going to be joining Cameo to do personalized videos just for you, but it's for a limited time only. So don't wait. Whatever you need, birthday messages, you got it. Anniversaries, you got it. A little bit of a little love, I'll give you that too. Little voice of reason, I got that. You need a little bit of advice? I got that. You want to hear about pathogenic ocular dissonance? I will explain it all to you. For a limited time only, I am here on Cameo. Book them now and give your friends, family, alien creatures that you have locked in your basement the gift that they have always wanted. Don't you dare wait, because I'm only going to be here for a good time, not a long time. Book your Cameo now with me.
Hell yeah. Get him, chat. Go and get him to trash Phil Marks and PWT. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that was, where are we? That, ladies and gentlemen, was miscellaneous news. Miscellaneous news. Miscellaneous
Ladies
news.
and gentlemen,
Oh, we love
I'm afraid
miscellaneous
I've got
news.
some bad news.
Okay, we do have WWE news to get to. Yeah, it's just a bloodbath match in AEW. Crowd's dead. They sound very dead. I've been just vastly uninterested in this show the entire time. Okay, let's head over here, ladies and gentlemen. We do have some Federation news. As you guys can see there, here's the collections on Patreon as well. So I'm adding, PWT podcast, these are the archives. Interviews, these are the archives of interviews. Like, I only have one in there right now, but I'm going through, I'm isolating them all. And with the pod, I got like 60 episodes of the 101 I've done, or 102 or whatever, of just the pod. So the archives are there with like a download and everything, so you guys can have them forever and ever. But also PWT live show, uncensored and uncut, is here on Patreon. That's even the jobber tier gets these. Okay. And then member show. So live show, member shows on there. Obviously, the live show, anything that Anthem or WWE tries to snipe off this show or whatever the fuck, AEW, Don Stevens or whatever, it's on the Patreon version. That's never the case. And then here's me watching Botchamania. Phil Marks and friends react to Botchamania, going through them all. Tough Enough, the whole first season's on there. Early access, so there's a bunch of videos in there that, I mean, that's just where early access shit goes before it goes up on like, YouTube or Twitter or whatever. Like sometimes when I make a music video, it'll always go on Patreon first, and then exclusive content as well that's on there, which is, has just whatever videos don't like. Some of them don't have categories other than they're exclusive. Like when I watch Tony Khan on the NFL Films, the draft day thing, like I watched that whole thing. I can't put that on YouTube because even with the millions of pauses, it's like they'll have a field day with that one. So it's just on there. Things like that. Other edits, me watching indie deathmatch wrestling's on there. And there's always guests on there. What else? There's like fucking me watching Inoki versus Ali is really awesome on there as well. That's an old school one. I don't know. Lots of good shit on Patreon. Patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times. Consider checking it out. Still in it hard, because Meltzer's putting strikes out on us, right? Actually, let me check in with chat. Yeah, so Scully Vibes has been a member for 19 months. Or you guys can become YouTube members, 99 cents, and I do a weekly bonus show for patrons and members, right? So consider doing that. Came in hot, hitting to like, what's the fucking vibes? Big hundo. Yeah. Oh, did you hit the 100th like? Thank you, dude. I really
Sometimes in life you
appreciate
gotta
that.
be a hoe.
Hell yeah, man. Acknowledge you for your long ass membership.
Acknowledge me.
George Capture for 5 says 100 likes. Yeah, confirming it. Give the people some Jericho. Yeah, dude, you read my mind. I was gonna hit it after the Cameo vibes. You heard the man. He dropped a $5. He wants some Jericho. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the show from Cameo, Chris Jericho.
I look and see it's not just me. So many others have stood where I stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. They call us problem child. We spent our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild. Let me get wild. Yay!
Okay, so fuck, man, we've had an amazing turnout tonight, man. It has been spectacular. Thank you all. Round of applause to the entire PETA. Even if you're hate watching, I love you. Big kisses. Happy holidays. And ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WWE news. So Action Meow on Lucha Libre AAA. So Apollo Crews, Lince Dorado will be wrestling in AAA against Apollo Crews, making his return to WWE in some form or fashion in AAA though. So not on the main roster. He was away like getting his school done and all this shit. And they let him do that. And so he will be having an awesome match. It's cool that some of these like smaller flippy guys, like Apollo's a little bit older. What are you going to give him a run at the title in the main run? Maybe you could, but it's cool that they're giving them places to work in AAA. And this is a play. Like, that's the thing, dude. In Mexico, they want to see WWE superstars and they want to see even ex-WWE guys. It was always fucking badass when people leave WWE and go to Mexico or go to Japan or whatever. They want to see that shit. So yeah, it's awesome that Apollo Crews is going to be back. Speaking of back, we can't play this whole goddamn thing, but the aura he possesses is crazy. All hail Sucio Dom. So this rapper, I forget his name. I apologize greatly. I wished his name was here, but he dropped a song. Go and look it up. It's called Sucio Dom, and Dom's in it. So this just rules right here. Like, Dom's just super over. Okay, that's all that needs to be said. He's in this cool ass music video. Speaking of being super over, Larry the dog, who's over with everybody. Everybody can come together and agree that Larry fucking rules. And he announced that Larry the dog has passed away. And yeah, deep condolences. Wrestle Pierce wrote, deepest condolences. I agree with that sentiment. So CM Punk says the grief we carry is the price we pay for unconditional love. Our little Larry crossed the rainbow bridge, wrapped tightly in our arms. He was safe and happy, surrounded by love. We rescued Larry from Paw Chicago in 2015 and changed our lives. Could never in 1 million years find the words to properly express how much we loved him, nor how much joy he brought us. Nothing I write, no pictures I post would do him justice. He lived a long, amazing life. And our boy is at rest, and the house is quiet. You can still hear the jingle of his little necklace. Yeah, dude, when your pet passes away, or like if you've ever had to put a sick pet down who just like, you know, I had a little dog once, me and my wife did, that was just holding on, you know, and it was like, okay, it's time. Like, it's like selfish of us to make her. She's so old now. It's like getting bad. I'm not going to get into details, but it was, and then you just like, and then they're just not there. And you're like, fuck, you know, like you notice it. It's the saddest shit. It is, man. Best energies. Larry the dog will live in infamy, more over than fucking 80% of the pro wrestling business in general as a whole, you know? So yeah, very, very, very sad. Speaking of sad, we had and being over. Here's where sad meets being over, I guess. This is where those two roads intersect. Okay? And Jey Uso, you know, he throws a bit of a tantrum here. And he's been doing that now that he's been super over as Yeet Man. You know, he's super Yeet. And LA Knight botches this fucking running up the rope botch after we just watched on the show him botching a bunch. Yeah. We watched compilations on the same show of LA Knight and Jey Uso botching a bunch. They're facing each other in this match. The match was good besides this one botch, more or less, right? And so let's play this clip.
Injured here. The Mega Star Bots nailing the Megaplex. The Megaplex indeed.
So they call that the Megaplex. You know, LA Knight slips. I think he went for the middle rope this time as well instead of the top, but then he slipped on it. And, you know, there's been rumors of fucking LA Knight having heat on him for like a while now. Whether that's true or not, I've heard enough of them to believe it to some degree that maybe someone, it's always like, oh, it's his attire. He doesn't trust people. He botched this spot in the Rumble. There's always theories about
Wrestling's not fake!
And so LA Knight here like botches this superplex or whatever. Jey Uso gets visibly mad. Like, watch this. He doesn't really sell it.
Megaplex indeed. Remember the damage that Jey.
But he throws a tantrum, rolls over, goes on his back. And why? Is it because he doesn't want people like calling him Botch Machine? Does he have heat with LA Knight in some form or fashion? Was he mad that LA Knight was going over on him? Does he feel like he's not? I have no clue. Where's that little temper tantrum come from? I think someone pointed out another time he did this as well.
48 hours ago.
So again, LA Knight needs to stop doing this move. That's first and foremost. And if trust is an issue, start trusting people. Jay, get your shit together, bud. Like, why the fuck are you throwing tantrums like that? And I get it, though. You're in the heat of the moment. You don't want shit to look sloppy shop. Now, I'm willing to give Jay the benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, maybe he's mad because the literal week before he's getting called fucking Botch Machine, him and LA Knight both in the IWC, and then they botch a spot. Maybe he's mad at like both of them, like as a team, like, fuck, man, we fucked this. I'm mad at myself. We fucked this up. But if he's throwing a tantrum because someone fucked up on him, it's like, Jay, you've botched a bunch, buddy. You're not the guy who can get mad at LA Knight. So it's interesting. Who knows? I'm not trying to spread rumors, but is there heat on people backstage in WWE? It's something to keep an eye on. And another instance of that we broke down earlier, Damian Priest went from being world heavyweight champion to wrestling on Main Event in the span of just 1 year. Now, WWE, I think their dark matches just go on Main Event because people, like, do they do any dark matches anymore? Or are they all just on Main Event? I have no clue. Now, there's rumors and innuendo out there. At least JJ saying that there's fucking, he, at least on our show, JJ said it. On my show here, JJ said it, that, or on the show we did together. It might have been his show. I can't remember where we had the conversation. It may have been multiple shows. Who fucking knows? I don't know. Lex, which was it? I don't know. Me neither. Okay. Did Lex work? Goddamn.
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. So the point I'm getting at, if there's heat when it comes to Priest and all the people he's been dating, and then Lola Vice, if there's real heat there, if those rumors are fucking true, which I don't know, all of a sudden he shows up on Main Event. It's like, damn, it's hard to argue. It's like, because that's how they traditionally punish you in wrestling. You go down the card. Cena just talked about this on his little dun, 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 dun moment on Raw, where they like the last time is now moment, and then they give that little excerpt of that interview he did. And they do like a motivational quote. He's like, yeah, I went on this Saturday show, Velocity, and where traditionally you'd look at that as a demotion, I looked at it as like, okay, let's get to work. That's what John Cena had to say. But so it's not like I'm making this up, right? You guys we can all agree in chat. No, sickos, wackos, TNA holes alike. We can all agree. Does that not seem kind of punishment Martinez, pun intended, right? Is that not punishment for him to end up on, maybe not punishment, like you're in trouble, but has he not floated down the ranks here pretty quickly? I think that's wild. This is some Karrion Kross shit. Look where Karrion Kross is at. That's all I'm saying. And Karrion Kross wasn't even world champ. Priest was world champ. So again, I don't want to start rumors. I don't want to speculate on fucking, I don't care who he's dating. He could date all the girls in the world. Good on him. You know what I mean? He was trying to beat those bisexual Undertaker accusations, I think. And shout out Kit Wilson, right? Like, he's getting time on Main Event. I don't know, for a Kit Wilson, to me, I'm like, okay, they see big things in Kit Wilson. They're getting him ready. I don't know, though. They do less house shows. And then Main Event, is that a demotion? I don't know. It seems like it could possibly be. And same with being sent to Mexico, like traditionally getting sent anywhere from NXT or the main roster is like anywhere other than even to NXT, they say is a demotion. You got sent to AAA. So if we're to believe JJ, like, hey, he's like, hey man, that's a demotion in wrestling, bro. I booked this shit. And it's like, all right, fucking hard to, and then you see this guy on main event. I don't know, man. Again, I'm piecing a lot. I'm doing a lot of conspiracy theories here today at PWT. Here tonight, rather. Speaking of conspiracies, NXT general manager Ava was sent a box with her name on it on Tuesday NXT, and Mr. Stone had already opened the box. This was inside. What is that? Speaking of fucking mysteries, what is that? I can't even tell what that is. Lex, what is that? I don't know! Me neither. Is that like... Is that one of those like... What are they called? Is that like one of those cell phone holsters that like block scammers? Here's a more clear picture. Like, what is this? A strap-on? What is that? A gun holster? RoboCop is coming to... Like, what is it? Hey, what's in the box, bitch? What is it? I have no clue what that even is. To be it looks like a camera case or something. It looks like your fucking your dad's, your father-in-law's cell phone holder that he has attached to his hip. That also, it looks like a modern fanny pack or something. I've no clue what this is, but a lot of mysteries and conspiracies afoot here in WWE and the PWT universe lately. Or at least tonight. Another conspiracy theory is that Freddie Prinze Jr.'s comments about ESPN being unhappy with WWE were shot down. And recently we covered how an ESPN exec said, yeah, we're super happy with WWE right now. But the problem is that, of course, the people controlling the narrative and the corporate guys are going to say that. Of course, they're going to say, yeah, we're happy with it. Of course, it's been gangbusters. They're not going to say that they're sad about it and fuck up the stocks and do all this other, you know what I mean? They're going to do that. They're still partnered with ESPN for a while. Now, Freddie Prinze Jr. was laughing about, he shit all over the ESPN app, for one, which is fine. I don't have to use it. But he also was like, this is exactly verbatim how he said it. And he said it laughing. Like he said it laughingly, the way I laugh, like make myself chuckle. You know, he's making himself chuckle. And he's like, dude, my friend in AEW, or not in AEW, pardon me. My friend, he was talking about ESPN, and he said, my friend in ESPN, or at Disney, said that ESPN are unhappy with the deal. Like they're like heated. They want better make their money back is sort of what's going around. But anyways, you know, he just said it like quickly and was laughing about it. And he said, my friend at Disney was fucking, no one posted a clip. They just grabbed his fucking quote. But he was like laughing about it as he said it, kind of. But I'm not saying he was joking or wasn't serious. He did seem serious. He's like, my buddy at Disney said that, you know, they're heated about the ESPN deal and they better make their money back on that thing. And they're like worried they might not, which some people even predicted would be the case, right? And so, according to Sean Ross Sapp in Fightful, Freddie Prinze Jr.'s comments about ESPN being unhappy with WWE, a WWE higher-up said no one in WWE upper management is aware of Freddie Prinze's role in wrestling or otherwise. So now Sean Sapp and Fightful are claiming that they talked to a WWE higher-up. So that's a bold claim. So whoever this higher-up is in the company. And if they did, they pull this quote. No, I don't think they're lying about this. I think Fightful's, this is a real quote because it seems so petty. No one in WWE upper management is aware of Freddie Prinze's role in wrestling or otherwise. Now, come on. You for surely, first off, he wrote for WWE. Come on now, Eric. Secondly, he's talked about buying and starting a Fed. Like, yeah, they're buying a Fed or starting his own Fed. Fred's Feds. And thirdly, he does do this podcast. Now, this podcast, I don't know if it does gangbusters, but Wrestling with Freddie is one of the more, if you're just like an even-keeled one, just like an even-keeled, relaxed. I like listening to it, honestly. It's not that bad. I told you guys I skipped the episodes that's just producer Alex, even though he gives great picks. He's good at predicting the matches. And then when it's just Jeff Dye, like I might listen to some of it, then switch it. I'm not a big Jeff Dye guy. Just being honest. And he dated Becky Lynch at one point. And then Freddie Prinze, though, I mean, I like him in fucking all of his movies, except for the newest I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's like if you asked Grok to write a script for I Know What You Did Last Summer, that's what it would turn out. And it's like if you asked AI to film it for you, too. Like just the shots, the color, everything was just, it looked like it was trying to be an Instagram reel the whole time. I digress. An ESPN rep claimed that they haven't heard that chatter and have enjoyed working with WWE. But here's the thing, though. Like if Freddie, let's say he's really talking to someone, they're going to tell him what the water cooler talk is. They're not going to tell him like the public statement. We can't just take billionaire and shady deal guy and, hey, we're all doing deals and wheeling and dealing and running and gunning in Hollywood and the entertainment business. You're going to take all those fuckers, what they have to say at face value. I don't. You know what I mean? You're going to believe like that these business dudes aren't just going to say and do what's best for business. That's like, it's crazy. But people are saying Freddie's just sour grapes. ESPN's president, Burke Magnus, says WWE ESPN partnership has gone great so far. So I'll take it from the horse's mouth. That's always what I do. I just say, listen, I'm willing to bet Freddie Prinze knows people at Disney. 100,000,000%. I'm willing to bet someone told him that. I'm willing to bet that Disney and ESPN and everything is so compartmentalized in certain areas that it's a game of telephone. Like the guy at Disney, maybe he doesn't really know what's going on at the ESPN sports WrestlePalooza sphere right now. I'm willing to believe that billionaires and millionaires and guys who are protecting their investments are going to go on TV and say, everything's great here. Everything's amazing. Or they're going to give interviews and say, shit's amazing. And it could be different behind closed doors. Look at Tony Khan. Everything's great. And then behind closed doors, it's like, obviously not. There's all this turmoil backstage. There's people, whatever. We've chronicled it all here. We don't need to talk about it more, but you guys get what I'm getting at. So both things can be true in this instance, right? At the same time, Freddie Prinze, he really puts over everything. Like when people say he's bitter and shit, I don't know. He puts over everything in AEW, everything in WWE. He pretty much puts over everything. He shits on some things and he doesn't shit on them that hard. He's so even-keeled that, like, I don't think it's that. I think he's just legitimately saying what he heard his friends say. And then the people in WWE and ESPN, I believe WWE would be petty with their response. And I believe ESPN would be like, yeah, no, everything's awesome. Like, it's not doom and gloom just because what Freddie said is true. Okay, wackos, it's not the end of WWE, even if ESPN aren't happy. The Netflix numbers, I don't think blew up the way people thought either. Why didn't Netflix grab their PLEs? They got outbid. They didn't bid. They're trying to buy Warner Bros. They have the money. Trying to get the UFC and shit. They have the money. They didn't want the PLEs. Why? Maybe it's just not, maybe international it's doing what they need, right? Like I told you guys, wrestling fans in Canada, of course it's going to top 10 every fucking, we're watching, we're all sickos there, buddy. We're all Stampede folk there, bud. But like, maybe in the US, they're like, nah, dude, there's not enough US viewers to fucking make us want the PLEs exclusively in the US or whatever. Maybe, and does that mean ESPN fucked up? No. So it's all good. A lot of people ran with this and went crazy with this. I think we have his actual quote. So he says, ESPN, by the way, is so unhappy with the deal. I was talking to, he's literally like chuckling, giggling like a school kid while he's saying this. I was talking to a friend of mine who works for Disney and he was just like, yo, they better make their money back on this deal. He just said they're hot. And then he just kept it moving. Like he did not dwell on it. He just said that and kept it moving. So, I don't know, man. I don't think anyone's like, I think it shows that WWE's more bitter with their response, if anything. Oh, this guy, we have no idea of his involvement and shit. It's like, all right, guys, chill. So John Cena Sr. does not like the fact that Gunther could possibly. Did Netflix bid on the PLEs? They got outbid? They got outbid by Disney. Okay. But yeah, so I don't know. What does Freddie have to gain from lying? Nothing. That's what I'm saying. Why are you making things up? I'm not making things up. Calm the fuck down. What do I gain from lying? You just asked the same question. Freddie may have his own twisted agenda. I doubt it. You know? And are more people tuning into his pod because of it? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know about all that. He hasn't been on it for like a month either, so he came in hot this ep. But speaking of views and people being unhappy, man, people being very critical of WWE lately, John Cena Sr. does not like the fact Gunther could possibly be his son's final match of all time. He doesn't need the rub. All Access podcast. So maybe he's right about. Here's the thing. I don't like the finalists either. I don't like the 4 guys that it could be. It's either got to be. I wanted it to be like Trick or even Joe Hendry. I was like, he's kind of old, dude. I wanted it to be Mello. My buddy JJ really convinced me like Mello's the fucking truth. Like it's been written in the stone that it was supposed to go down this way. But John Cena Sr. is naming names like Edge and shit. I think people wanted to see him like do that, wrestle just like a farewell tour. I get it though. You got to give it to somebody like younger. But I was even pulling for The Miz more than anyone else. If it's not going to be him giving it to someone younger, it's got to be him wrestling like someone that he's had a bunch of matches with. John Cena Sr. lists some names here. I agree with most of them that I'd prefer. Even Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, that would have been crazy because there was a time where Zack Ryder, there was conspiracy theories that John Cena was burying Zack Ryder and people were, the whole wheelchair being pushed off the stage thing and everything like that. And Triple H and everyone had it out for him and all this stuff because he was getting over on his own, which is a no-no to a lot of the egotists in wrestling, right? So even Zack Ryder, I would have popped hard for that, like Zack Ryder versus fucking Cena. If it's not going to be the future, it should be like the greatest hits. Another one, you don't go out and copy the match he did with AJ, but just one of his great rivals, one of his great opponents. They chose not to do that. It's going to be Gunther or somebody who, in the next, like I said, 3 to 5 years is going to be like in the world title picture. It's got to be Gunther. If they swerve everyone and go with LA Knight, damn. I mean, shocking to me. And that could happen. That's the beauty of WWE right now. You never know. But I would be okay with either. I mean, it is what it is, man. I think Gunther, if it's either Gunther or LA Knight winning, I don't really care, but I want Gunther more than LA Knight. That's me personally. Everybody has their preference. I think that Gunther getting a win over Cena for the title, not for the title, is the way to go as well, because the dirt sheets were saying it was going to be for a title. Gunther can just get a win over Cena, end his career, they can shake hands. Gunther's full-blown babyface, even though he was like cheating and shit against Solo, but the crowd popped for it, man. They're loving Gunther. So maybe Gunther, he doesn't have to cheat to win. That's the other thing too. It makes it weird because if he cheats, like, does he cheat to try and beat Cena? Then it's like more in the heel category. I don't know. I kind of don't like that he kicks Solo in the balls and all that. Either way, Cena versus Gunther, I think that's the way to go. But John Cena Sr. gives his fucking picks, and I agree with all of these over even Gunther. I got to be honest.
Different opponents.
It's not going to be like Trick or Oba or some shit.
And if you had to choose one, who would it be for that last opponent at Saturday night's main event?
Well, it certainly would be Gunther, that's for sure.
And I agree, dude. I don't think Gunther needs the Cena win. And if he takes the Cena L, that's like, Gunther can't lose to Cena. But maybe that's why they're booking that, and then they have Cena go over, and then it's like, oh shit. But then what does that do for Gunther? Like, we got to look at the future, and Gunther and LA are getting up in age and shit. Everyone's getting up in
I
age.
think that that's a wise move. I don't think the fans would enjoy that move. Myself personally, Gunther does not need the rub. And by the way, I'm not a fan of on the way out, you've got to push somebody over the top. You're supposed to pass, quote unquote, the torch. I don't know whether that's written anywhere in professional wrestling. If we have to use that as an analogy, then he's already done that with Cody Rhodes.
Different opponents.
True that. And I thought I had a list of the names. I thought he listed it in that clip. He says JBL. JBL, who else did he say? Edge. He said someone else who was in AEW, I think. Chris Jericho or something, whatever. He just named a bunch of people Cena's wrestled, and that's who it should be. I agree. But if you're just looking at like who's on our roster, who's going to be with us the next like 3 to 5 years, Gunther's going to be in the main event against all these guys. Okay, I guess, right? I can see what they're doing. Speaking of championships, though, WWE has filed to trademark Clash of Champions again. So good for them. And I'm all about the Night of Champions and the class. Well, here's the thing. I don't want to see like the IC and the US champs fight and the fucking tag champs fight. I don't want to see all that like at Crown Jewel or whatever. Or what's the King of the Ring? What's the pay-per-view where they all fight for the Super Showdown, for the Super Belt or whatever? It doesn't matter. But Clash of Champions, Night of Champions, I always liked a show where it's like, okay, every title gets defended no matter what. That's an easy gimmick to do for like a show once a year. And like Tony Khan couldn't even make that shit work with Battle of the Belts. Clash of Champions, inferior to Night of Champions, in my opinion. Is what it is. Speaking of, spending money on Thanksgiving, let's talk ratings and attendances here for a second. So Thanksgiving week failed to crack the global top 10, so there's no viewership data available. It did rank number 9 in the US. The competition was insanely tough, led by Stranger Things season 5. Okay, the 10 show had 4 million views, which is a number Raw hasn't cracked since the premiere. That's crazy. I can't remember if this last week, if WWE was all up in the top 10, but it definitely wasn't prominent near the front in Canada. Because it was all Stranger Things. I heard Stranger Things 5 like crash the fucking Netflix and everything. Stranger Things 5, man, god damn. I'm going to talk about that on my other channel tomorrow. I keep saying I'm going to stream it this week. I got to do it, but I will. But goddamn, starts weak for me and so strong for me. That's all I'll say right now. But Thanksgiving Raw was down. Okay, we have attendances here, tickets distributed, but what isn't down? Saturday night main event. Goddamn, 16,483 tickets sold. And they're set up for 17,263. This is as of like 3 days ago. If you factor in, like this was yesterday, but these updates are about 2 days difference there. So we'll say that they're going to sell this thing out. I'm sure the last little chunk of tickets sell. And we don't know any other matches other than like Cena's going to fight Gunther. And then what else? Like NXT guys. But didn't they say that Breaker's going to take on Punk? Or is that the wrong date? They were talking about some day, December 3rd, January 5th. I don't fucking remember. But if that's on Saturday night main event, then yeah, they were talking about an NXT, like a young star showcase. Where does that go down, I wonder? We have NXT Deadline. They've distributed 1,800 tickets. The current setup, 2,000. So the last update was 7 days ago. About a week ago, and there's only 2,000 seats on the map, so hopefully they can fill it up. 66. So to go to an NXT show, you're paying goddamn near $70. AEW Dynamite's like $30 for a ticket. It's damn near 70 to see NXT and possibly TNA. Like that's how poppin' NXT and TNA are right now. And so San Antonio, Texas. So it's only set up. Okay. So that's why I was sitting here like, why haven't they sold more tickets to this? It's like fucking Dynamite numbers, but yeah, I guess they filled this thing up. So that's good, man. And NXT Deadline should be good. I think that's this Saturday. So we'll be watching that here at PWT Sicko Saturday. Make sure you tuned in. And that'll be fun. Speaking of which, we have Ricky Saints taking on Obafemi for the championship. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of pissed that Obafemi and Joe Hendry aren't on the fucking main roster. And they keep doing this thing where everyone's like, Obafemi's got to get called up. And then he's just never called up. And it's like, okay, at what point do we, I'm not trying to pull a Tryon Bryan here and say like, we need to make him world champion, Luthez. But I think they're just banking on because the guy's so young, right? Like Obafemi, because of his size and how over he's gotten and how his gimmick is like, dude, how do you top this? You know what I mean? He's not going to run through guys like this on the main roster. He's going to be a devastating force, but he's not going to beat like Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker and Cody Rhodes this way and shit like that. You know, he's not going to run through Punk the way he runs through. He'll still be a powerhouse, but there's guys like bigger than him. So his NXT run, like you're not going to replicate that. I think it'll be a little harder to get him over because of that. They'll give him some destruction spots and shit, but we already have guys like that. And he's 20. I don't even think he's 30. I think he's like 28. He's like 27 or 28. I think, right? Obafemi. I don't even think he's 30 yet, dude. So that's got to be all it is. They're just like, man, it's what I'm saying. We just push these guys later. You know, he's not even 30. Give him till he's 30, then we'll call him up. They might call Ricky Saints up before Obafemi gets called up. But either way, the men's Iron Survivor Challenge, a match that's gotten over with me. Again, it was something that when it first became a thing, I was like, oh, this is kind of feels TNA-ish, but nah, it works. And it's gotten over with me. And we have some of the guys from Dark State like breaking off from their crew. Miles Bourne, we have Javon Evans, we got Leon Slater, and we got Joe Hendry in that thing. So that's a TNA NXT specialty right there. The women's Iron Survivor Challenge, Lola Vice, you got all the gals in there. Sol Ruka, Jordan Grace is in that thing. So again, a little TNA NXT mashup. I'm not even giving picks yet. Let's breeze through this here. Tatum Paxley versus Izzy Dame. And then obviously Paxley clawing her way back to the title eventually. And then you have the NXT North American Championship, Mr. Iguana and La Yesca. And of course they're in San Antonio, Texas. So you're going to break out a little bit of lucha action. And yeah, you have Ethan Page, the ego, man. He fucking rules. And again, he's a guy. I want to see him get called up, but he's doing such great shit with the North American title and his stuff in Mexico. The little bit he's been over there. And they've teased him on the main roster like a bunch of times already. It's like people know who he is because he's just like randomly there with Chelsea Green or like randomly there in a Punk segment or whatever the fuck. So Ethan Page, man, he's going to be big shit eventually in WWE. And again, he's older. So like, the fuck do you pull the trigger on that guy? Speaking of Punk, he has joined the cast of the Netflix rom-com based on the Catherine Center novel, The Bodyguard. So isn't there already a rom-com called The Bodyguard? So is this just like the Netflix version of that? That's cool. He's getting tons of roles. Good for Punk. He's crushing it. He was just one of the Zebros. That Zootopia 2 movie, like, broke records, beat fucking Wicked 2, Wicked for Good in just its opening weekend or whatever, globally. So apparently that's like a smash hit. Speaking of smash hit, goddamn, we've had like 400 motherfuckers watching all night, man. You guys rule. Moving along here. Andrew Schultz, speaking of Netflix and Cringe and cringy comedians and shit we were talking about her, and Too Lazy to Try and Akash Singh, right? Andrew Schultz has made a strong impression with many people in WWE. Expect to see more of Schultz featured in WWE programming moving forward. I don't know about all this, but he's obviously buddied up to like Rhodes and Reigns and shit when they were on the Street Fighter set. I don't know if he overlapped with any of them. It's also like Netflix is high on him and these guys and giving them like, it's these guys we tell, like you watch the roast of 2024, Jeff Ross roast of 2024. It's like Adam Ray and Tim Dillon and these guys, people in the Rogan sphere, right? Like they're on these shows, and all the not all the comedians that get specials on Netflix are in the Rogan sphere, quote unquote. But like Schultz is one of them, and he's one of these guys who's like, man, we're canceled and blah blah blah. Then Netflix swooped in, and then he's like just on Netflix now, and I think he might be on that Tires show with Shane Gillis. Maybe he's not. I haven't seen it, but either way, apparently Schultz has made a strong impression backstage. Whether this is true or not, I don't know, but it's more of that like Netflix integration with WWE, the synergy and the fucking certain people. That's why he's in certain movie roles that also wrestlers are in and shit like that. You guys know what I'm saying? So I guess shout out Schultz. I think he's an absolute cringe lord. I just gotta be honest. No hate on him personally, just cringe. So Road to Royal Rumble in Saudi. They're in Leipzig, Germany. So they're in Germany, Scotland, Denmark, Germany, England, Poland, England, Northern Ireland, Belgium, and that's Raw for house shows and SmackDowns, 2 SmackDowns, 2 Raws, myriad house shows, and they are all over Europe there, and then they head out to Saudi Arabia for the Rumble. That's going to be weird, chat, but I'm looking forward to it, you know? I'm looking forward to watching it together. You know what I mean? So, let's move along here. Bailey on some wrestlers that leave the show early. So Bailey buries some wrestlers here. And this is from 6 Feet Under with Michelle McCool, and Undertaker is there, I guess. A shell of the Undertaker is there, I guess, as his fucking podcasts got overtaken. But yeah, she basically shoots on wrestlers who leave shows early.
Yeah, that just blows my mind. Like when people, and I can't even imagine what it was like, you know. But when I first got on the road, it was all the live events. Is like, okay, you always watch. Like Cena watched everything, you know. Roman watched everything, and now, you know, these last few years, Seth is always at that front monitor. So if you're at the live events, you come back through the curtain, there's that monitor right there. And then you have talent viewing. I always liked watching at that front monitor because you can hear the crowd better.
Right.
And I also get to
see, this is why Bailey's one of the goats right here. And yeah, shout out 6 Feet Under and Fanatic.
You know, when people come back, they ask Seth, like, oh, what'd you think? And then I could hear what he's saying to them. So like, okay, I'm learning too.
Wow.
But then, you know, lately there's some people who just leave, and it's like, then Seth comes back from the main event and nobody's there. Like, that is like, what? You just asked for his advice and now nobody's here? That drives me crazy. Or if some people aren't.
Yeah, and in AEW, Punk accused them of doing the same shit. That's more the culture. I don't know if it's like that in TNA, but TNA seems to have like a super strong locker room going into this new like AMC era as well. So I'm really excited for them to get covered like more and more. And maybe we'll hear some drummers going on there, right? But it is disappointing to hear that. People should be locked in. I mean, I don't know. It's picture it like you're on the Lakers and you're like, oh, I'm not even going to watch the fucking game. I'm just not going to show up. I'm not even going to sit on the bench. I'm just nothing, you know? You're injured and it's like, peace out. I'm just gone. You know, like you're right there, man. You got to watch your team. You got to know the ins and outs of the TV show as a whole. That would be, I don't know. That's maybe some people are just like, nah, fuck it. It's a check and I just come and get physical and go. But, yeah.
On the show, you know, they just take off and I just can't. I don't know.
It's hard to
had
fathom.
This, yeah. I have this conversation with some people and I just don't get it. But it's different. And I don't know what's missing or if there's something like, for me, it's like what you're saying. You tell Kai, is like, I'm trying to lead by example. So like, I would hope that some of the girls see that I'm still here, or I'm not booked, but I'm in Gorilla, or I'm not booked, but I'm watching the girls matches no matter what. And that would be like, oh, maybe I should stay too. Some may think like that, some may not, but
I mean, look, I've never
Yeah, there's nothing that forces you to stay. And people
Yeah, that just
understand
blows
that,
my mind.
but she's making a great point. Like, how are you going to ask Seth for advice? And then his match goes on, and then you don't even fucking watch it. It's like all for show. You know, it's like everything's fake.
Liar!
You don't really care about his advice. You're just doing it because you're seeing him sitting in Gorilla, and then he goes out there to wrestle, and you don't watch him apply the shit he might have told you. Damn, Trips, get your fucking locker room in order, bud. You got Uso throwing tantrums. You got ESPN's hot. You got fucking no. We just turned anti-WWE. No, honestly, though, overall, WWE has been putting on some fucking shows where you're like, this is why I'm a WWE fan. Like some of the John Cena shit, people boo-boo all over it. I fucking loved when he won the IC title. Like that was so incredible to me. Like that's just a moment I'll never forget. I popped so hard for that shit. And so WWE's cooking right now. But yeah, we're going to keep them honest here at TWT, okay? That's for sure. Okay, guys. We did an amazing show. It's like almost 4 hours. We'll do Sickos on Sicko Saturday. We'll start Sicko Saturday before NXT Deadline. We'll do the Sicko segment, okay? It's an awesome one. I promise you. There's lots of good shit in there. And what's chat saying? TNA starting at 9 p.m. every Thursday? Yeah, dude. I know. 9 p.m. Eastern is when it starts every Thursday in the new year. So I don't think until the 15th. I want to thank everybody, guys. Hit like, hit subscribe again. Patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times if you want to support PWT. And round of applause for the amazing audience we got tonight. I appreciate you guys so much. And yeah, check me out on the Phil Marks Out channel. I need to do a Stranger Things stream where I talk about the first 4 episodes. So just keep your eyes peeled there, either Thursday or Friday. Dave Meltzer, Dumb Moment of the Week tomorrow. Not we'll rule you tomorrow. Okay. Might be earlier though. Might be during the day or something like that. But just keep an eye out for it. Get it on your podcast feeds and you'll get the audio. Until next time, ladies and germs, I've been Phil Marks. Thank you. This has been another amazing live show. I'll see you all in the Upside Down. Hope you guys had fun tonight. And I'll see you guys in the Upside Down. Go TNA. Congrats, TNA. For real. Peace.
I look and see it's not just me.
Jeff, why do you insist on doing this dumb internet shit on TV?
I look and see it's not just me.
This place is a fucking joke, man. You're a clown. I quit.
So many of us have stood where we stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. So many of us have stood where we stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. We call us problem child. We spend our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild.
No. It doesn't make logical sense, but it makes
yes, of course.
But it makes wrestling booking sense. Of course, this makes no sense. Of course, okay, it makes no sense. However, in pro wrestling booking, which often makes no sense, it would do that. It's about making money. It's not about anything else. Wrestling's always been about making money first and foremost. That's it.
I look and see it's not just me.
Last weekend was the greatest weekend in AEW history. This is the greatest week.
I look and see it's not just me.
Security, my safety, my life was in danger at a wrestling show.
So many of us have stood where we stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. So many of us have stood where we stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. We call us problem child. We spend our lives on trial. We walk and we smile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand, we won't fall. We're 1 for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild. We call us brother child. We spend our nights on trial. We walk and we smile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand, we won't fall. We're 1 for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild. Get wild! Yeah!
If you're familiar with how we do things often here on these Wednesdays, it's a lot like one of my favorite movies, Time Cop.
What? Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah!
Damn it, God damn it!